Chapter 641. Dark Demon Hall's Deputy Hall Master. Recognizing the old figure, the Boo couple's expressions changed drastically. They were very familiar with the Dark Demon Hall, one of the three supreme king-level forces. Other than the Hall Master, who was at the peak of the quasi-immortal Emperor realm, the Deputy Hall Master was the strongest. He was a sixth-stage quasi-immortal emperor. In millions of years, you're the first person who dared to barge into my Dark Demon Hall. The weathered old man's gaze was fixed on Chu Bei. He was sizing him up as if he was trying to determine Chu Bei's exact cultivation level. Chu Bei smiled at the weathered old man. He had no intention of paying attention to him. His expression was as if he was looking at a clown. Arrogant. The weathered old man seemed to have noticed the disdain in Chu Bei's eyes. He was instantly enraged. With a raise of his hand, black mist gushed out from his palm, compressing the stars in the surroundings to the limit and blasting them towards Chu Bei. In my eyes, you're the same as them. Both of you are ants. Chu Bei pointed his finger. With a loud bang, the weathered old man's attack was neutralized. Then, without waiting for the weathered old man to reveal a surprised expression, Chu Bei waved his sleeve. A ripple shot directly into the deepest part of the Dark Demon Hall. To be more precise, the ripple entered the void above the hall in the deepest part of the palace. Rumble. With a loud bang, the void distorted and a river of stars flowed out. Who is it? In an instant, a cold shout filled with monstrous anger sounded from within. The majestic voice floated above the Dark Demon Hall and spread far and wide, shaking the souls of every cultivator. Then, all the halls rumbled and there was a strange buzzing sound. Then, a red-robed man walked over with a gloomy expression. "Greetings, Hall Master." "Hall Master, I didn't mean to disturb you. Everything was done by this intruder." When they saw the red-robed man, all the experts of the Dark Demon Hall, including the weathered old man, immediately bowed respectfully. It was not difficult to see that there was fear in their eyes. The red-robed man glanced at the weathered old man and the others with an expressionless face. Finally, his gaze landed on Chu Bei, and he said in a low voice, "You deserve death." As he shouted, the red-robed man's eyes shot out two beams of resplendent light that were as red as blood. Black flames danced in his eyes, and a surging galaxy evolved. It was terrifying. At the same time, the killing intent in his eyes condensed into substance. The extremely rich quasi-immortal emperor power burst out, interweaving into a dense attack that blotted out the sky and covered the earth as it shot towards Chu Bei. Chu Bei smiled but didn't say anything. His expression was as calm as ever. His eyes also burst forth with light, but they shot out multicolored rays of light that curled and interweaved into a beautiful divine rainbow that met the red-robed man's gaze. Bang! Two beams of light collided. Another loud sound rang through the air. At the point of collision, the heavenly dome directly collapsed. Large expanses of stellar regions exploding, stellar rivers flowing in reverse. He actually blocked the Hall Master's attack. How is this possible? The Hall Master is a perfected quasi-immortal emperor. In the entire Hundred Flowers Emperor state, other than the Hundred Flowers Empress and the other two great venerables, who else can block the Hall Master's attack? Could it be that he has also reached the Hall Master's level? Is he a perfected quasi-immortal emperor? Impossible. That was just a casual attack from the Hall Master. Seeing that the red-robed man's gaze had been blocked, the Dark Demon Hall elites revealed expressions of shock. However, just as they thought that the collision of the two probing attacks had disappeared, there was a whoosh, and the multicolored light shot into the red-robed man's eyes. Ah! The next moment, a painful roar rang out. "You deserve to die," the red-robed man roared. His eyes were invaded by the multicolored ripples, and blood dripped out. Facing the red-robed man's increasingly intense killing intent, Chu Bei still didn't care. He waved his sleeves and led the red-robed man to another battlefield. Clang! It was also at this moment, accompanied by the sound of metal vibrating. A giant axe appeared in the red-robed man's hand. It cut through the sky of the battlefield, and with a loud boom, it directly attacked Chu Bei. Wherever the giant axe passed, the surging quasi-immortal emperor power turned into a shocking storm, and all kinds of dark ancient beasts appeared. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they attacked Chu Bei. This is the Hall Master's origin weapon, the Netherworld Axe. The Hall Master is really angry. Recognizing the giant axe in the red-robed man's hand, the Dark Demon Hall Elite's expressions changed drastically. Although the sharp aura released by the axe blade wasn't targeted at them, it still made them feel a chill down their spine, and they couldn't summon any will to resist. However, when facing the red-robed man's axe, Chu Bei simply and directly clenched his fist to meet it without any fancy moves. Boom! Under countless gazes, a multicolored fist wrapped in chaotic aura collided with the giant axe. Just as the Dark Demon Hall elites were certain that Chu Bei would be cut into pieces by the axe blade, there was a crisp crack, and the giant axe shattered. The appearance of this scene directly stunned all the spectating cultivators. The Netherworld Axe is broken. He broke the Netherworld Axe with one punch. How is this possible? The Dark Demon Hall cultivators were numb, and they didn't know what to do. First, it was bleeding from his eyes. Then the Netherworld Axe shattered. From the beginning, their Hall Master was at a disadvantage. Immortal Emperor. Finally, the red-robed man calmed down. This exchange of blows allowed him to determine Chu Bei's cultivation level. In an instant, the red-robed man's originally cold expression turned gloomy. What? Are you afraid? Chu Bei replied with a hint of a smile in his voice. Hearing Chu Bei's mocking words, the red-robed man snorted coldly. Although he was indeed a little panicked now, he also knew that it was too late no matter what he did now. Right now, he could only fight to the death. In an instant, resplendent drops of blood seeped out of the red-robed man's body and began to burn. Gradually, the red-robed man's pupils turned crimson. With just a glance, even an immortal king would lose his mind. It was incomparably terrifying. As the blood on the surface of his body burned, the red-robed man on the battlefield erupted with an even more terrifying boundless light. His aura was changing, as if he had temporarily stepped into the immortal emperor realm. He's burning his origin blood essence. Palace Master. He was actually forced to take such a step. Where did that person come from? Is he really so terrifying? Could it be that he's from the 100-flower emperor state, or even beyond the high heavens? Looking at the flames outside the red-robed man's body, the weathered elder and the other experts of the Dark Demon Hall gasped. When they looked at Chu Bei again, their expressions were extremely solemn and filled with disbelief. Fight! As the cold shout fell, the red-robed man's entire body was wrapped in flames. His entire body transformed into a wide saber and slashed at Chu Bei. At this moment, he had ascended to the extreme. If he won, he would never be able to step into the true immortal emperor realm in this lifetime. If he lost, he would die and his Tao would vanish. To the red-robed man, either outcome was not what he wanted, but he had no choice. Because from the beginning, he had been wrong. His opponent was actually an immortal emperor. As the red-robed man transformed into a wide saber, the void where the battlefield was instantly frozen. Rumble. The saber light was resplendent. Its sharp aura tore through the river of time and shattered the chaotic heavens. Its power was extremely powerful. At the tip of the saber, there was a miniature of the great heavens and various immortal emperor runes interweaving. Chapter 642. On the square, numerous gazes landed on the broad blade that the Hall Master of the Dark Demon Hall had transformed into. All the experts of the Dark Demon Hall, including the weathered old man, held their breaths as they stared intently at the battlefield. When they looked at Chu Bei again, there was no change in his expression. He was calm and composed. He took a step forward and transformed into a rainbow-colored divine rainbow. Various strange auras intertwined, and chaotic ripples were the main ones. Rumble. The divine rainbow and the broadsword collided, and the immortal emperor's aura surged. The aftermath of the collision shattered the spatial barrier of the battlefield and the profundities of the laws. In an instant, it swept across the high heavens and even the entire chaotic heavens. This battle aura, it's an immortal emperor. The battlefield is in the Hundred Flowers Emperor Province above the high heavens. Wasn't the Emperor-level All-Heavens shop also established in the Hundred Flowers Emperor Province? Could it be that one of the immortal emperors in the battle is the owner of the All-Heavens shop? Very likely. As for the other immortal emperor, it must be the Hundred Flowers Empress. No, the other immortal emperor's aura is very chaotic. He hasn't become an immortal emperor. Instead, he's a perfected quasi-immortal emperor who's burning his origin energy to the extreme. As the aftermath of the collision spread, more and more experts in the chaotic heavens were alarmed. Pairs of eyes pierced through the stars and landed on the battlefield. There was no lack of immortal emperors among them. On the battlefield, the divine rainbow and the broadsword intertwined and consumed each other's energy. Finally, under countless anxious gazes, the stalemate was broken. With a loud bang, there was a crisp cracking sound. The broadsword that was surrounded by the immortal emperor's aura was drowned by the divine rainbow. Then, there was a shrill scream. It was incomparably painful. Then, without waiting for the Dark Demon Hall Master's figure to escape, a dazzling golden disc fell from the divine rainbow and enveloped the broadsword in an instant. In the next moment, the rumbling in the battlefield disappeared, and it suddenly became quiet. Almost at the same time, the high heavens and the entire chaotic heavens fell silent. The cultivators who were originally talking noisily fell into shock. It's over. A perfected quasi-immortal emperor has fallen just like that. This is the inevitable result. The dignity of an immortal emperor is inviolable. Experts from every corner of the great domain of chaos spoke out. After killing the Dark Demon Hall Master, the rainbow-colored divine rainbow turned back into Chu Bei's appearance and floated back to the sky above the Dark Demon Hall. Lord Hall Master. He was killed. How could this be? Is he really an immortal emperor from another emperor province? The group of experts from the Dark Demon Hall stared at Chu Bei in shock, their faces filled with fear. Who are you? Meeting Chu Bei's gaze, the Dark Demon Hall's Vice Hall Master could not help but shiver as a chill crept up his back. He subconsciously raised his aura to the maximum and was on high alert at all times. The owner of all heaven's business. As his indifferent voice fell, Chu Bei smiled as he looked at the weathered old man. This can be considered as making up for your regrets before death. All Heaven's shop? The All Heaven's shop that just passed through an emperor-level faction. Hearing Chu Bei's words, the weathered old man seemed to have understood everything. However, it was already too late. The area where the Dark Demon Hall was located suddenly rumbled. An incomparably terrifying and mysterious power surged down like a river, pouring down in an instant. Boom, 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 boom. Many of the halls in the Dark Demon Hall collapsed, and the stars in the mountains turned into nothingness. A series of miserable screams came from below. Dense black blood rays rose up until they disappeared in the air. The weathered old man's expression was twisted. He endured the pain and charged at Chu Bei. He knew that he was no match for him, but he had no other choice. The battle ended very quickly. In just 3 exchanges, the weathered old man with the strength of a 6th-level quasi-immortal emperor was killed by Chu Bei. His body and soul were both destroyed. The weathered old man died in battle, and the immortal kings and perfected immortal experts behind him were instantly annihilated. They could not resist at all. The Dark Demon Hall, one of the 3 supreme king-level factions, is gone just like that. Where did this immortal emperor come from? He destroyed a supreme king-level faction not long after establishing an emperor-level faction. Could it be that the Dark Demon Hall has touched his reverse scale? Or maybe he just wants to use this to establish his authority. No matter what the reason is, the All Heaven's shop is not something we can provoke. More and more experts poked their heads out from the periphery of the Dark Demon Hall. They were all shocked. The gaze that he used to look at Chu Bei was filled with intense fear. In just a few breaths' time, a supreme king-level faction that stood at the peak of the Hundred Flowers Emperor region had been reduced to a pile of lifeless ruins. Father, Mother, we've avenged our Bu clan, Bu Xian said to the Bu couple with wide eyes. Thank you, benefactor, for avenging our Bu clan. The Boo couple looked at the ruins below. When they came back to their senses, they looked at each other and immediately knelt in front of Chu Bei. Their eyes were filled with gratitude. Anyone who offended me will be killed. Chu Bei's face was expressionless. Although his voice was calm, it resounded in every corner of the chaotic heavens as if he was warning all the cultivators. Benefactor, the reason the Dark Demon Hall destroyed our Boo clan and captured us was to force us to reveal the secret of the Source Heaven Stone. The Boo couple seemed to have made a decision and transmitted their voice to Chu Bei through divine consciousness. I've heard about it, Chu Bei replied. Benefactor, the secret we know is not the Source Heaven Stone, but the Source Heaven Stone mine. The Boo couple took a deep breath and began to tell Chu Bei all the secrets they knew about the incident. After a long while, the Source Heaven Stone mine. After listening to the Boo couple, Chu Bei's emotions finally stirred. A single Source Heaven Stone was already equivalent to an immortal Emperor weapon, let alone an entire Source Heaven Stone mine. It was rumored that among all the forces in the chaotic heavens, only the top 5 Emperor-level forces were in charge of the Source Heaven Stone mine. Unfortunately, according to the Boo couple, the Source Heaven Stone mine would only appear 30 years later. To other immortal emperors, 30 years might be just a blink of an eye, but to him, it was a very long time. Most importantly, he was not the only one who knew about this secret. Other immortal emperors had also learned about it through different channels. However, the immortal emperors who knew about this secret all kept it a secret, so it did not spread out. Rumble. At this moment, a new battlefield appeared in the north. The battle was equally intense. Emperor aura filled the air and was comparable to the battle between Chu Bei and the Dark Demon Hall Master. What's going on? It's another battle between immortal emperors. One wave just stopped and another came. What's going on today? 2 consecutive battles between immortal emperors. That's the 100-Blossom Empress. And the one she's fighting against is He Ling. Following the sounds of battle, all the experts in the high heavens looked over. Chapter 643. The Primordial Dragon Phoenix. It's him. He escaped from Zhuling Mountain and went after Centauria Empress. So what if he's strong? Facing Centauria Empress, the outcome will be the same as 1,000,000 years ago. Above the heavens, a group of experts looked at the battlefield in astonishment. 2 figures were fighting. One of them was a gigantic creature that looked like a dragon, yet not a phoenix. It could be said that it was the combination of 2 divine beasts. At a closer look, there were countless stars floating around the divine beast's body. As for the other figure, it was a black-clothed woman. Her appearance was not clear, giving people a feeling of illusory. However, with every movement of his, countless emperor flowers bloomed, bright and glistening. Master, that's Daddy. Little Dragon Phoenix immediately recognized the primordial Dragon Phoenix. She shook Chu Bei's arm and exclaimed, Rumble. The primordial Dragon Phoenix and the woman in black continued to exchange blows. However, from the looks of it, the primordial Dragon Phoenix was clearly at a disadvantage. It would occasionally let out earth-shattering roars, and its aura was extremely chaotic. On the other hand, Centauria Empress was very calm. Her every attack was very casual. When I learned that you had escaped, I didn't immediately attack. Instead, I gave you a chance. I didn't expect you to come to me again. Since you're so stubborn, I'll seal you away forever. Centauria Empress' smile disappeared, and her voice became cold. If you hadn't ambushed me back then and stole my opportunity, you wouldn't be the one to become a great emperor right now. It would be me. The ancient Dragon Phoenix scolded. Her voice was filled with anger. What? Centauria Empress stole the primordial Dragon Phoenix's opportunity to become an immortal emperor? I can't believe that happened. No wonder the primordial Dragon Phoenix went after Centauria Empress as soon as it escaped. Hearing the primordial Dragon Phoenix's words, the experts were shocked. What's the point of bringing up the past? Centauria Empress said indifferently. She reached out with her crystal palm and slapped at the primordial Dragon Phoenix. This time, Centauria's attacks were no longer random, but filled with the power of an immortal emperor. The might of his palm strike was shocking to the extreme. It carried with it monstrous Emperor Tao symbols that covered the sky and shook the past, present, and future. Fight. Under this terrifying immortal emperor aura, the primordial dragon phoenix's half-immortal emperor power was obviously suppressed, but there was no fear on his face. The roar of a dragon and the cry of a phoenix could be heard as its enormous body shrank rapidly. It mobilized all of its immortal energy and the power of the star domain, compressing them to the limit at the tip of its claw as it met the palm of Blossom Empress. Rumble. On the battlefield, the heavens exploded, the rivers of stars churned, and Emperor's power surged. The ancient dragon phoenix's claw was broken. Golden blood spurted out, and a large area of dragon scales fell off. The primordial dragon phoenix was forced to retreat, but before it could recover, Flower Empress struck again, this time with even more ferocity. Bang! In the blink of an eye, Flora Empress' second attack landed on the primordial dragon phoenix's body. There was an explosion, and the ancient dragon phoenix's body was blasted into a pile of minced meat. Monarch's aura surged from the flesh and blood. Daddy! Looking at the scene on the battlefield, the little dragon phoenix immediately became anxious. However, as if he had thought of something, he immediately looked up at Chu Bei. Master, please save Daddy. He's no match for that woman. Clang. On the battlefield, there was the sound of metal clashing. Flower Empress' hands danced, and 4 chains made of Emperor's Tao flowers danced in her palms toward the primordial dragon phoenix's minced meat. This time, I'll seal you forever. Flower Empress' voice was cold and emotionless. Her voice carried with it an unparalleled majesty. Whoosh! However, just as the 4 chains were about to seal the primordial dragon phoenix, a towering ancient tree appeared on the battlefield. It was a strangely shaped ancient tree that exuded an ancient aura. It had tens of thousands of leaves, all of the same size, but all of them had different colors and shapes, each with their own unique characteristics. The branches and leaves swayed and buzzed. Thousands of different colors rippled above the ancient tree, occasionally changing into different shapes. At the same time, an extremely dense and refreshing aura spread out from the tens of thousands of leaves. It rippled in the battlefield, changing into a mystical scene. Above the ancient tree, there was a baby jumping. With a gentle wave of its small white hand, a ripple tore the 4 chains apart. What is that? It actually destroyed Flower Empress' seal. Countless cultivators stared blankly at the Bodhi ancient tree that had appeared on the battlefield. Just as they were flabbergasted, 2 more huge figures appeared beside the Bodhi ancient tree. They were the Tree of Enlightenment and the Underworld Tree. The 3 ancient trees formed a triangle. The moment their branches swayed, they changed positions and surrounded Flower Empress. After being nurtured by the system, the 3 ancient trees had entered the unparalleled realm. Whoosh! At that moment, the baby above the Bodhi ancient tree seemed to have received some kind of instruction. It looked in the direction of the primordial dragon phoenix. Its small white hand waved again. A misty and refreshing aura rippled between the branches and leaves, like a river, engulfing the primordial dragon phoenix. In a flash, the primordial dragon phoenix's flesh healed and reformed, returning to its original form. I hate people who meddle in other people's business the most. As Flower Empress' cold voice sounded, a huge imperial flower appeared beneath her feet. Thousands of visions intertwined within it. The immortal emperor's aura surged, frightening people to the core. Do you want to start a war with me? As she spoke, Chu Bei had already appeared on the battlefield. He hovered above the Bodhi ancient tree and looked calmly at Flower Empress with a smile. He could determine Flower Empress' cultivation level. Although he was not confident in killing her, defeating her should not be a problem. The owner of All Heaven's shop? It's him. I was wondering who in the 100 Flowers Emperor state would dare to provoke Flower Empress. Heavens! From the looks of it, the 2 immortal emperors are going to fight? Could it be that the owner of All Heaven's shop has some kind of relationship with the primordial dragon phoenix? Otherwise, why would he help the primordial dragon phoenix? Looking at Chu Bei, who had suddenly appeared on the battlefield, the crowd of spectating experts revealed astonished expressions. Interesting. At that moment, gazes from all over the chaotic great realms shot toward the battlefield. All of them were powerful immortal emperors. Even in the great realms, immortal emperors stood at the peak. At the immortal emperor realm, it would take several epochs for one immortal emperor to kill another immortal emperor. For this reason, the immortal emperors seemed to have reached an agreement. Apart from the emperor ranking battles, they would not fight at any other time, let alone fight to the death. It was because immortal emperors rarely fought each other that Chu Bei's appearance on the battlefield against Flower Empress successfully piqued the interest of all the immortal emperors in the Great Realms. Chapter 644. It's you. The primordial dragon phoenix had recovered from its injuries. When it saw Bei's appearance, shock and gratitude flashed across its huge eyes. Chu Bei tilted his head to look at the primordial dragon phoenix, smiled, and nodded. The owner of the All-Heavens shop? Centauria Empress stared at Chu Bei with a gloomy expression. As she harumphed coldly, Centauria Empress' figure gradually disappeared. More accurately, she fused into the enormous imperial flower beneath her feet. The imperial flower bloomed, and tens of thousands of avatars intertwined as they charged towards Chu Bei with Immortal Emperor's aura. Since you want to fight, then I'll accept. Chu Bei's words were filled with a smile, and he did not look panicked at all. As he spoke, the Bodhi tree beneath him, the Path Understanding tree, and the Underworld tree began to sway madly. Chu Bei's body became illusory, and for a moment, it seemed like he had turned into tens of thousands of avatars. However, when you looked again, it seemed like an illusion. At that moment, the battlefield seemed to have stopped for an eternity. Whether it was Centauria Empress attack or Chu Bei's attack, they seemed to have slowed down by billions of times. Under countless gazes, the two attacks containing Immortal Emperor's power slowly clashed. Boom! However, when the two attacks collided, everything seemed to have returned to normal. The terrifying Immortal Emperor's power instantly tore the battlefield into nothingness. Just as the shockwaves from the collision were about to spread out, a new battlefield appeared. Otherwise, let alone the 100-Flower Emperor state, the entire high heavens, and even the other large regions, would be affected. After all, this was a battle between immortal emperors. On the battlefield, the two terrifying immortal emperors' powers continued to surge, and the worlds collapsed one after another. After a while, the imperial flower exploded, and Centauria Empress appeared and took 3 steps back. Immediately after, Chu Bei's figure appeared, and his aura was clearly more stable than Centauria Empress. They're evenly matched. No, Centauria Empress is slightly weaker. Looking at the two figures separated in the middle of the battlefield, the spectating experts reacted and cried out in surprise, "Are you sure you want to oppose me because of it?" Flower Empress locked her gaze on Chu Bei. Her face grew darker and darker, and her voice grew colder. "From now on, he belongs to my All-Heavens shop." Chu Bei narrowed his eyes at Flora Empress, his voice growing deeper and deeper. "Whether it's now or when I'm not around, if you dare to attack the people of All-Heavens shop, I will not only destroy you, but also destroy Flora Valley." At the end of his speech, Chu Bei's voice exploded in the entire grand domain of chaos like rolling thunder, shaking the souls of every cultivator. Clearly, his words were not only directed at Flora Empress, but also all the experts in the All-Heavens, including other immortal emperors. As expected, immortal emperors are not easy to provoke. Haha, at our level, how can we not establish some dignity? That's true. When we first established our forces, our movements weren't necessarily smaller than his. All over the grand domain, immortal emperors were chatting and laughing. The might of an immortal emperor is not to be blasphemed. I'm definitely joining All-Heavens shop. With such a powerful leader, the other factions won't dare to offend us. After hearing Chu Bei's words, the experts who were already prepared to join All-Heavens shop became even more determined. "Are you threatening this emperor?" Centauria Empress stared coldly at Chu Bei. Her aura rose again, and her expression darkened to the extreme. "If you continue to fight, I won't rest until I'm dead." Chu Bei stared directly at Centauria Empress. Colorful ripples surged around his body, and his aura was no weaker than hers. The strange atmosphere lasted for 15 minutes. Centauria Empress snorted coldly. If anyone from all heaven's shop dares to offend my 100-flower valley, I'll kill them without hesitation. Hearing this, a strange look appeared in the eyes of the crowd of onlookers. Although Centauria Empress' aura was still unyielding, it was obvious that she had taken a step back. Chu Bei smiled and retracted his aura. After all, he didn't have much time left to use this level 21 item. If he really pushed her too far and fought to the death, he would have no choice but to use this level 22 item. Let's put aside your grudge with her for now. Even if you can't let it go, wait until you're an immortal emperor before you seek revenge, Chu Bei said to the primordial dragon phoenix. I know. The primordial dragon phoenix nodded at Chu Bei. You can stay in All Heaven's shop from now on, Chu Bei continued. All right. The primordial dragon phoenix agreed. So the primordial dragon phoenix has joined All Heaven's shop? Heavens! That means, other than the immortal emperor, All Heaven's shop has another peak quasi-immortal emperor? The experts were shocked. Even for an emperor-level faction, it was extremely difficult to recruit a peak quasi-immortal emperor. After all, a peak quasi-immortal emperor could already create their own super monarch faction. The next day, majestic buildings rose from the ground in the area where Black Blood Island used to be. Looking around, there was a sea of people in every corner, and all of them exuded powerful auras. Even the weakest among them was a true immortal. Today, the Emperor-level faction, All Heaven's shop, was recruiting disciples. There was only one purpose for them to gather here, and that was to join All Heaven's shop and be under their protection. Chu Bei split into thousands of clones and allowed anyone who met the requirements to join. There were even 2 quasi-immortal emperors among the people who joined. At this moment, Chu Bei sensed a familiar aura and immediately looked toward the northeast. There, a divine rainbow quickly pierced through many star fields and appeared in front of Chu Bei. I thought you wouldn't come. The newcomer was Hong Ming, the strongest person in the coiling dragon plane, an 8th-stage quasi-immortal emperor. Looking at your aura, it's only a matter of time before you break through to the 9th stage. Seeing a familiar face, Chu Bei couldn't help but smile. Do you want to consider joining All Heaven's shop? Why else do you think I'm here? With that, Hong Ming's smile faded and his expression turned solemn. He cupped his fists at Chu Bei. Hong Ming greets sovereign. Soon after, Chu Bei visited the other 39 emperor continents in high heavens. To be precise, he visited 39 immortal emperors and turned the area where Black Blood Island used to be into the 40th emperor continent. It was called All Heaven's shop's emperor continent. What shocked Chu Bei was that among the 39 immortal emperors, at least 30 of them were stronger than him. Of course, Chu Bei also joined the Supreme Alliance formed by all the immortal emperors in high heavens, becoming the 40th member. Since the emperor ranking battle had yet to begin, Chu Bei was naturally ranked last on the emperor ranking, which was the 40th place. Of course, this didn't mean he was the weakest. At the very least, Centauria Empress was no match for him. As for the immortal emperor ranking of the entire Chaos Great Heavens, Chu Bei was still lacking and wasn't qualified to be listed. Chapter 645. Host will now enter the City of Trials. Suddenly, the system's voice rang in Chu Bei's mind. Here we go again. Chu Bei looked helpless when he heard the system's voice. After a long while, Master, how long will you be in seclusion? In the All Heaven shop, Bu Xian, Bing Tong Tong, and little Long Huang stared at Chu Bei with widened eyes, reluctant to part with him. Maybe 3 days, maybe 30,000 years, maybe 3 million years. As for the specific time, it's hard for Master to say. Chu Bei stroked the heads of the 3 little fellows one by one and said with a smile, Boss, aren't you going to fight for the Source Heaven Stone Mine? The Bu couple walked up and bowed to Chu Bei. Let's leave it to fate. Chu Bei pretended to be carefree. Of course, he wanted the Source Heaven Stone Mine, but who knew how long it would take for him to return to the chaotic All Heavens after leaving the City of Trials. After leaving some instructions, Chu Bei disappeared from the All Heaven shop and entered the City of Trials. In the void, Chu Bei looked at the familiar city below and landed. He started fighting with the ancient beasts in the city. Day after day, year after year. There was a mountain peak suspended in the starry sky, and it was covered in dense forests. As far as the eye could see, the mountain peak was surrounded by dense immortal chi. Even the dense forest inside had become overflowing with life. At that moment, a ripple appeared on top of the mountain, and a man in a purple robe emerged from it. The upper heavens seems to be making a lot of moves recently. I heard about it too. It seems that a source heaven stone mine has appeared. However, it seems like only a handful of forces know where the source heaven stone mine will appear. It's not just the source heaven stone mine. Do you remember the all heaven shop? That new emperor-level force from 30 years ago? Of course we know. It's the only new emperor-level force in the last tens of thousands of years. How could we not know? If I remember correctly, the sect leader of the all-heaven shop disappeared on the second day after it became an emperor-level force. There are rumors that he went into seclusion, and there are also rumors that he wandered to gain enlightenment. In short, there's no news of him. That's right, it's the all-heaven shop. Then do you know about the grudge between the 100 Flowers Valley and the all-heaven shop? Although I haven't seen it with my own eyes, I have heard of it. It was said that the owner of the all-heaven shop had taken in 3 disciples in name, and one of them was Little Long Huang. Coincidentally, the little dragon phoenix's father was the ancient dragon phoenix. The primordial dragon phoenix and 100 Flower Empress had a grudge against each other. After their battle, the primordial dragon phoenix was defeated. However, just as the dragon phoenix was about to be suppressed forever, the owner of the all-heaven shop intervened and rescued the primordial dragon phoenix from the 100 Flowers Empress. Moreover, the 100 Flowers Empress seemed to be slightly weaker than the owner of the all-heaven shop. What I want to say is that the recent movements in the high heavens are related to the 100 Flower Valley and the all-heaven shop. 30 years ago, the 100 Flowers Empress and the all-heaven shop owner had verbally agreed to stay out of each other's way, but in reality, the two sides had been secretly clashing in recent years. At first, the 100 Flower Valley was just probing attacks, but later on, they became more and more aggressive. Don't keep us in suspense. What's the situation now? I don't know. I learned this from a fellow cultivator I made in the high heavens. Perhaps the all-heaven shop has already been destroyed by the 100 Flowers Valley. After all, the latter is only an emperor-level faction founded 30 years ago. Compared to the 100 Flowers Valley, their foundation is still much weaker. Forget it. The all-heaven shop has nothing to do with us anyway. Its survival has nothing to do with us. In the sky above the mountain range, Chu Bei, who had just walked out of the City of Experience, overheard the group's conversation. His expression gradually turned ugly. He hadn't expected to step into the chaos great heavens again. It had been 30 years since he'd left. The source heaven stone mine, which he'd thought was still far away, was about to appear. As for the all-heaven shop's current situation, it was the source of his anger. If what these people said was true, then the 100 Flowers Empress hadn't fulfilled her promise from 30 years ago. Rumble. Chu Bei crossed the great heavens domain. Before he arrived at the Emperor District of the all-heaven shop, he heard the sounds of an intense battle along the way. Looking over, he saw several figures crisscrossing above a valley, forming an extremely tragic battlefield. Bright blood splattered everywhere. At that moment, nearly 100 figures in white robes were hunting down 20 figures in green robes. The former's white robes were imprinted with several strange flowers that flowed with dense spots of light. The latter's robes were embroidered with the words, All Heaven Shop. Due to the disparity in numbers, the 20 figures in the All Heaven Shop's robes were clearly losing ground. Most of the blood that was spilling in the air came from their bodies. Wind Armor, are you still going to struggle? I'll give you one more chance. If you're willing to let me plant the 100 Flowers seal, I'll spare your lives. The leader of the 100 Flowers Valley team said coldly, What's there to miss about an emperor-level faction that's only been established for 30 years? The leader of the white robes was called Long Ling. He was the 7th elder of the 100 Flowers Valley and had the strength of a 7th-level quasi-immortal emperor. He was ordered to ambush the people in the All Heavens shop. Unexpectedly, he hunted down one of the higher-ups of the All Heavens shop. Wind Armor was a 6th-level quasi-immortal emperor. He had an extraordinary status in the All Heavens shop. Since we've joined the All Heavens shop, how can we abandon the All Heavens shop because we're afraid of death? Wind Armor looked at Long Ling expressionlessly. All kinds of treasured arts surged behind him. So what if you've destroyed the All Heavens shop? When the sect master returns, the 100 Flowers Valley will also be destroyed. The owner of the All Heavens shop disappeared the next day. I'm afraid he built the All Heavens shop for fun. Only idiots like you would really think of it as an emperor-level faction and protect it with your lives. Besides, so what if he returns? Our 100 Flowers Valley has the 100 Flowers Empress. Why should we fear him? Long Ling sneered disdainfully. He waved his hand and said to Wind Armor, "Since you're unwilling to plant the 100 Flowers seal, we can only kill all of you. What a bunch of fools." Rumble. As soon as Long Ling finished speaking, the 100 Flowers Valley experts behind him burst forth with monstrous killing intent again. Waves of terrifying power swept out. All kinds of treasured arts were used and blasted toward the 20 people in the All Heavens shop led by Wind Armor. "Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me." None of the experts in the All Heavens shop had fear on their faces. There was only endless fighting spirit. Bang! However, just as the people in the All Heavens shop were about to fight, an enormous chaotic palm descended from the sky. Chapter 646. The giant palm appeared very suddenly in the void, but it contained an endless amount of immortal emperor power. As the palm struck down, nearly 100 Flower Valley experts suddenly stopped in their tracks, as if they had been imprisoned in an instant. What's going on? I can't move my body. This is the aura of an immortal emperor. Looking at the rippling giant palm that appeared out of nowhere, the 100 Flower Valley experts' pupils constricted. However, before they could even react, the chaos giant palm that carried the aura of an immortal emperor had already slammed down on their heads. With a loud bang, even someone as strong as Long Ling, a 7th-stage quasi-immortal emperor, was reduced to nothingness after a few seconds. As for the 100 Flower Valley experts whose cultivation levels were lower than his, they were reduced to ashes the moment the giant palm landed. Witnessing this scene, the 20 All Heavens shop experts, including Feng Kai, were stunned and looked at each other. When they saw Chu Bei arrive, they were first stunned, then they all knelt down in unison. "Greetings, Sect Master," they shouted in unison, their voices filled with excitement. "Rise." Chu Bei's voice was calm as he lifted the 20 All Heavens shop experts with a wave of his hand. "Sect Master, you're finally back. The All Heavens shop is in a very bad situation right now. Senior Long Huang, Senior Primordial Chaos, and the other disciples are probably in danger." Feng Kai suppressed the excitement in his heart and looked at Chu Bei with great respect as he said hurriedly, "I've returned this time to resolve this matter," Chu Bei replied faintly. He had personally recruited Feng Kai into the All Heavens shop back then. As for the other 19 people, they were very unfamiliar. They should have joined the All Heavens shop in the past 30 years. However, because Chu Bei's image had been widely circulated in the All Heavens shop, the other 19 experts immediately recognized Chu Bei, the owner of the All Heavens shop. At the same time, in the Emperor District of the All Heavens shop, Rumble, the once bustling Emperor District had turned into a boundless battlefield. Intense battles were taking place everywhere. On the battlefield, there were true immortals, immortal kings, and quasi-immortal emperors. Kill these invaders from the 100 Flowers Valley. Protect the All Heavens shop to the death. Born for the All Heavens shop, dead for the All Heavens shop. Killing one isn't a loss. Killing 10 is a profit. In the All Heavens shop, in the starry sky and on the ground of Emperor District, sonorous battle songs could be heard from battlefields of all sizes, as well as iron-blooded battle cries. Countless dazzling lights flashed. The experts of the 100 Flowers Valley and the experts of the All Heavens shop were locked in a fierce battle. Vast amounts of energy surged as they fought. As far as the eye could see, the entire All Heavens shop seemed to be enveloped in a vast sea of immortal light. Murderous intent filled the sky. Among these countless battlefields, There were 3 battlefields that were particularly eye-catching. In these 3 battlefields, the strongest experts of the 2 forces were fighting fiercely. Among them, the battlefield of the primordial dragon phoenix and the 100 Flowers Empress was the most eye-catching. Next was the battlefield of Hongming and the 100 Flowers Valley's first elder. Hongming, this is the 4th time we've fought, but it'll also be the last. The 100 Flowers Valley's first elder said with a smile as she unleashed her most powerful attacks. Hongming glanced at the battlefield of the 100 Flowers Empress and the primordial dragon phoenix, then looked at the 100 Flowers Valley's first elder with a dark expression. The Empress hadn't made a move in the previous invasions. Although they'd suffered losses, they'd still managed to force the 100 Flowers Valley to retreat. But this time was different. The Empress had personally come to Emperor District, and they didn't have an immortal emperor to oversee them. Their situation wasn't optimistic. At that moment, 2 figures were intertwined in the battlefield of the most focused world. One of them was a gigantic creature that looked like a dragon, yet not a dragon, yet not a phoenix. It could be said that it was a combination of 2 divine beasts. Outside its body, countless star systems floated up and down. The other figure was a black-clothed woman. Her appearance was not clear, giving people a sense of illusion. However, with every movement, countless dazzling imperial flowers bloomed. These 2 figures were the strongest in the all-heaven shop, the primordial dragon phoenix, and the 100 Flower Empress of the 100 Flower Valley. Rumble. The primordial dragon phoenix and 100 Flowers Empress continued to exchange blows. However, from the current situation, the primordial dragon phoenix was clearly at a disadvantage. It would occasionally let out earth-shaking roars, and its aura was extremely chaotic. On the other hand, 100 Flowers Empress aura was still stable, but not completely at ease. Her blurry face seemed to be somewhat serious. I didn't expect you to improve so much in just 30 years. If I allow you to continue like this, I'm afraid you'll become an immortal emperor in less than 10,000 years. 100 Flowers Empress' voice turned cold, and the killing intent in her eyes intensified. I've decided. I won't seal you anymore. Instead, I'll make you disappear from this world. In terms of talent, I've always been better than you. If you hadn't ambushed me and stolen my opportunity, you wouldn't have become an immortal emperor. The primordial dragon phoenix seemed to be reminiscing about the past. Its cold snort was filled with anger. That's all in the past. The current situation is that you haven't truly become an immortal emperor. I can still kill you. 100 Flowers Empress in different voice fell. She once again reached out with her crystalline palm and slapped at the primordial dragon phoenix. This time, 100 Flowers Empress attack contained her Tao-proving paragon technique. Her every move was filled with immortal emperor power. The might of her palm was extremely shocking. Monarch runes filled the sky and shook the past, present, and future. What is there to fear even if I die? In the face of 100 Flowers Empress' increasingly terrifying attack, the primordial dragon phoenix still didn't show any fear. With a dragon's roar and a phoenix's cry, its enormous body rapidly shrank. It mobilized all of its immortal energy and the power of its star fields, compressing them to the extreme at the tip of its claws and meeting 100 Flowers Empress attack. Bang! When the 2 attacks collided, the heavens of the battlefield shattered. The Milky Way churned, and emperor power surged. The primordial dragon phoenix's claws were broken. Golden blood spurted out, and large areas of dragon scales fell off. I'd like to see how many times you can last. Without waiting for the primordial dragon phoenix to recover, 100 Flowers Empress attacked again, this time even more ferociously. In an instant, the second attack landed on the primordial dragon phoenix's enormous body. With a loud explosion, the primordial dragon phoenix's body exploded into a pile of minced meat. Emperor power surged within its flesh and blood. When 100 Flowers Empress personally led her army to attack the Emperor province of the All-Heaven Shop, countless experts from the other Emperor provinces in high heavens also looked over. Chapter 647. High Heavens, Emperor Province under the Moon. In the center of Emperor Province, A slender figure stood in the ethereal immortal mist on a sacred mountain surrounded by galaxies. Her hair danced in the wind, and the river of time flowed in her eyes. It's going to be destroyed after just 30 years? It's really the Emperor-level faction with the shortest inheritance in history. The slender figure glanced at the battlefield above Emperor District in the All-Heaven shop. A hint of pity appeared on her exquisite and flawless features. The slender figure sighed in Emperor Province. Like Centauria Empress, she was also an empress, one of the 40 immortal emperors in high heavens. At the same time, in the desolate Emperor Province, just like its name, there was almost no life in this huge province. It could even be said that this huge Emperor Province only existed for one immortal emperor. The reddish-brown earth seemed to be soaked in blood, cold and lonely. Desolation and emptiness coexisted. Huge rocks stood sporadically on the ground, and at first glance, they looked like tombstones. The world was dark, and the faint black mist added a sense of eeriness to Emperor Province. The endless reddish-brown earth was distant and dead. There was no sign of life at all. How interesting. When the owner of All Heaven's business returns and sees the Emperor-level faction he founded turned into a pile of ruins, I wonder what he'll think. In the depths of the reddish-brown earth, a gaze shot through the sky and landed on the battlefield where the primordial dragon phoenix and Centauria Empress were. There was a hint of playfulness in the low, distant voice. High Heavens, Star Ocean Emperor Province. Whoosh! This Emperor District was especially special. It was like a boundless silver ocean. Waves rolled up from time to time, like a metal storm hitting the shore. Rumble. With a loud bang, the surface of the ocean seemed to be cut in half by a giant sword. Then, an immortal emperor's aura overflowed, crossing the past, present, and future. Centauria Empress, this is really your style. Despicable and shameless. A stalwart figure appeared on the surface of the ocean. He looked coldly at the sky, and the river of time was in chaos at this moment. High Heavens, Floating Island Emperor Province. The Emperor District was formed by countless islands. Countless powerhouses resided on each island. After such a long time, this is the first direct clash between two Emperor-level factions in High Heavens. It's a pity that the owner of the All Heaven shop isn't here. There's no suspense in this battle. In the air above one of the largest islands, an illusory figure appeared. The aura of an immortal emperor leaked out, causing people to be intimidated. Above High Heavens, other than the 100 Flowers Emperor State and the Emperor State of the All Heaven shop, the other 38 Emperor States also had strange phenomena, surging with immortal emperor auras. Rumble. In the world battlefield above the Emperor District and the All Heaven shop, the primordial dragon phoenix's aura grew weaker and weaker. Its huge body exploded again and again, and then reassembled with great difficulty. Did you see that? Your primordial dragon phoenix is about to die in the hands of the Empress. When Her Majesty is free, it will only take a snap of her fingers to get rid of you ants. If I were you, I would give up resisting. At this point, what are you still struggling for? Haha, don't tell me you are still hoping that the primordial dragon phoenix can defeat the Empress? The experts of the 100 Flowers Valley on the other battlefields laughed smugly at the sight of this. The All Heaven shop experts' expressions turned ugly when they heard the 100 Flowers Valley's mocking words. At the same time, they looked up at the world battlefield above with deep worry in their eyes. Senior Dragon Phoenix is still half a step behind. The All Heaven shop experts sighed, their words filled with reluctance. It's good to drag someone down with us. The All Heaven shop experts' killing intent intensified. Kill these foolish All Heaven shop fools. The 100 Flowers Valley experts sneered, their eyes filled with disdain. However, just as they were about to attack the All Heaven shop experts again, a wave of chaos rippled over them like a flood. Wherever the chaotic ripples passed, the experts of 100 Flower Valley would disappear before they could even scream. What's going on? Where are the 100 Flowers Valley people? Not only are they gone, but their auras are as well. Are they dead? The All Heaven shop's experts stared blankly at the chaotic ripples that had appeared out of nowhere when the 100 Flower Valley's experts suddenly disappeared. They looked at each other with confusion on their faces. Meanwhile, the people on the battlefields above Emperor Province clearly hadn't noticed the strange scene below. They were still fighting fiercely. Clang! Suddenly, the sound of metal clashing rang out from the battlefield between the 100 Flowers Empress and the primordial dragon phoenix. Behind Flower Empress, tens of thousands of imperial flowers bloomed. As she waved her hands, the flowers intertwined to form 4 dazzling spears. Die! The 100 Flowers Empress' voice was cold and emotionless. Her voice was filled with supreme authority. At this moment, her aura rose to the peak, and the emperor power contained in the 4 dazzling spears also reached an unfathomable level. As the 100 Flowers Empress cold in the forest roared, the 4 dazzling spears shot toward the pile of dragon phoenix flesh that had yet to reassemble. Daddy! No! Don't! Inside the ruined All Heavens shop, the little dragon phoenix seemed to have sensed something and let out a tearful dragon cry. It was heart-wrenching. After today, the 100 Flowers Emperor Province and the 100 Flowers Valley will cease to exist. However, when Blossom Empress' 4 dazzling spears struck the primordial dragon phoenix's mangled flesh, a cold voice filled with supreme majesty and dense killing intent rang out above Emperor Province. It then pierced through the void and reverberated throughout high heavens. A towering ancient tree appeared in front of the pile of dragon phoenix flesh and swept toward the 100 Flowers Empress' 4 dazzling spears. Hum. When the 2 immortal emperor forces collided, the 4 spears were sent flying. Upon closer inspection, it was a strangely shaped ancient tree that exuded an ancient aura. It had thousands upon thousands of leaves, all of the same size, but of different colors and shapes, each with their own unique characteristics. The branches and leaves swayed and buzzed. Thousands of different colors rippled above the ancient tree, occasionally taking on different forms. An extremely dense and refreshing aura that caused one's mind to feel refreshed diffused out from the thousands of leaves, and it rippled through the battlefield and transformed into a miraculous scene. Above the ancient tree, an infant jumped. With a gentle wave of its small, white hand, a ripple entered the pile of dragon phoenix flesh. Soon, the primordial dragon phoenix reformed, and its chaotic and weak aura stabilized. Chapter 648. What's that? It actually blocked Centauria Empress attack for Senior Long Huang. I think I've seen it somewhere before. That voice just now. It was the Sect Master. The Sect Master is back. The experts of the All Heavens shop stared blankly at the Bodhi ancient tree that appeared in the middle of the battlefield. Before long, someone recognized it and cried out in surprise and excitement. At that moment, 2 enormous figures appeared behind the Bodhi ancient tree. They were the Path Understanding Tree and the World Tree. The 3 ancient trees moved in a triangular formation. The moment their branches swayed, they shifted positions and surrounded Centauria Empress. The might of an immortal emperor. Interesting. Things are getting interesting now. I'm afraid that Centauria Empress didn't expect her to appear. Haha, I'm bored now. I can watch a good show. The immortal emperors in the sky were slightly taken aback when they saw the 3 ancient trees appear in the middle of the battlefield. Then, a playful expression appeared on their faces. As soon as the immortal emperors finished speaking, ripples appeared on the battlefield where Centauria Empress was located. Then, a figure appeared. It was none other than Chu Bei. As for Feng Kai and the other rescued experts of the All Heavens shop, they had joined the battlefield below. Sect Master. It really is the Sect Master. Great, the Sect Master is really back. With the Sect Master here, the Centauria Valley is nothing. Today, we'll pay them back 1,000 times over for what they did to us before. It seems that the Sect Master was the one who killed those Centauria Valley experts. Only he can kill so many celestial kings in a single breath. When they saw Chu Bei's appearance, the experts of the All Heavens shop were stunned at first, as if they couldn't believe their eyes. When they came to their senses, they cheered excitedly as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The happiest of them all was the little Long Wang in the All Heavens shop. Her bloodshot eyes were filled with tears of joy. Master is really back. Our prayers have really worked. Bu Xian and Bing Tongtong hugged each other, their faces filled with joy. On another battlefield, Lung Ruo, do you still think your 100-flower valley can take over my all-heaven shop? Hong Meng's furrowed brows relaxed as he smiled at the Grand Elder of the 100 Flowers Valley. Humph. So what if your sect leader comes back? Compared to 30 years ago, Her Majesty has become much stronger. The Centauria Valley Grand Elder glanced in Chu Bei's direction. Her expression turned grave as she snorted coldly at Hong Meng. Hong Meng chuckled. He attacked the Grand Elder of the 100 Flowers Valley again. He seemed relaxed. Greetings, Sect Master. The primordial dragon phoenix flew in front of Chu Bei and bowed. Thank you for your hard work. Leave the rest to me. Chu Bei patted the ancient dragon phoenix's shoulder and gestured for it to watch from the side. Seeing Chu Bei's arrival, Flower Empress frowned and her aura began to rise. 30 years ago, I spared you. That was the wrong decision. Chu Bei spoke indifferently. His voice wasn't loud, but it was clearly transmitted to the minds of all the experts present. It wasn't hard to hear the killing intent in his voice. Kill me? Do you think you have the right to? Flower Empress sneered at Chu Bei's words. As her voice fell, a gigantic imperial flower appeared beneath her feet. Thousands of visions intertwined, and the immortal emperor's aura surged. Chu Bei took a step forward, hovering in the air above the Bodhi tree. He looked calmly at the Empress, his eyes cold. Fight. With that, the 100 Flowers Empress disappeared. To be more precise, she fused into the gigantic imperial flower beneath her feet. The imperial flower bloomed and thousands of visions intertwined. Carrying the immortal emperor's aura, it charged towards Chu Bei. Die. Chu Bei only uttered one syllable. His expression didn't change at all. In the next moment, the Bodhi tree beneath Chu Bei's feet, together with the Path Understanding tree and the World tree, began to violently sway. At that moment, Chu Bei's body became illusory. For a moment, it was as if he had turned into thousands of figures. But when you looked again, it seemed like an illusion. The battlefield seemed to have stopped for an eternity. Whether it was Flower Empress attack or Chu Bei's, it was as if they had slowed down by millions of times. Under countless gazes, the two terrifying immortal emperor attacks collided with each other at an incomparably slow pace. Boom! There was a shocking explosion. This was the first time the two of them had clashed. Is this a draw? An expert exclaimed as he watched the battlefield. To deal with you, I really do need to use some tricks. Flower Empress, who had put some distance between them, said coldly. Hundreds of strange flower petals appeared behind her. The petals collided with each other, creating a melodious sound. The ethereal, celestial music seemed to flow from ancient times. It resonated with the great Tao and filled the battlefield with an inexplicable charm. At that moment, Flower Empress was clearly standing in the battlefield, but she gave off the illusion that she was very, very close. However, if one looked closely, they would find it extremely ethereal and difficult to capture. It was as if her body had melded into every corner and was everywhere. This is the Empress 100 Flower Empress melody. The moment the celestial music sounded, the elders of Flower Valley cried out. Not only the experts of Flower Valley, but the other immortal emperors of the Emperor State also focused on Flower Empress. There was a strange look in their eyes. It was said that when the 100 Flower Empress melody sounded, it contained boundless killing intent and had the power to shatter heaven and earth. Listening to the 100 Flower Empress melody, Chu Bei was unmoved. The ancient tree beneath his feet swayed and dazzling light floated. All kinds of strange phenomena alternated. One moment, flames filled the sky. The next moment, yellow sand floated, thunder rumbled, snow fell from the sky. It was extremely strange. Whoosh! Flower Empress' eyes shot out a dazzling light. She attacked again. As she waved her hand, the 100 emperor flowers behind her surged together, as if they were accompanied by celestial music. At a closer look, each petal contained a world floating up and down. There were many complete laws within, and they blasted toward Chu Bei with supreme power. With the Empress 100 Flower Empress melody, The owner of all heaven's shop is nothing. Looking at the hundreds surging petals and the river of celestial music, the elders of Flower Valley were full of anticipation. In their minds, the scene of Chu Bei being strangled to death seemed to have already appeared. The primordial dragon phoenix, wind armor, and the other experts of all heaven's shop frowned as they watched the battlefield, their eyes filled with worry. Clearly, they had heard of the 100-flower Empress melody. At the same time, Chu Bei also attacked. He stepped on 3 ancient trees, and the dazzling ripples around his body brought about a large energy storm. Branches and leaves floated up and down, displaying all kinds of phenomena. Chapter 649. In the world battlefield, 2 terrifying attacks merged together. Perhaps it was because the battlefield was too far away, or perhaps it was because the 2 immortal emperor forces had collided and canceled each other out. But neither the experts of the All-Heaven Shop nor the elders of the 100 Flowers Valley had heard the earth-shattering explosion they had expected. Everything that happened on the battlefield was more like a soundless video to the spectators. Centauria Empress 100 Flowers Empress Melody and Chu Bei's myriad manifestations clashed. The 2 figures hovered in the air, facing each other in silence. Their hands seemed to be calmly pressed together, but their palms were filled with the light of the immortal Emperor's Tao. Wherever the light passed, the worlds around them would explode one after another without a sound. The 2 figures faced each other for a full 15 minutes. Finally, a buzzing sound broke the deathly silence. Centauria Empress took several steps back, the petals around her dissipating. She spat out some golden blood, which landed on the starfield. The energy contained within the blood caused it to explode. The Empress is injured. How is this possible? He actually blocked the 100 Flowers Empress melody. Wonderful, the sect master is fine. He has the upper hand. The Centauria Valley Elder and all Heaven's Shop's voices rang out as they watched the battlefield. Rumble. Before Centauria Empress could wipe away the blood at the corner of her mouth, Chu Bei had already unleashed another attack. The terrifying immortal Emperor's power tore the battlefield into nothingness. But just as the shockwaves from the collision were about to spread, a new battlefield appeared. Otherwise, it wouldn't just be all Heaven's Shop in Emperor Province, but all of High Heavens and even the other great domains would be affected. After all, this was a battle between immortal emperors. Centauria Empress' expression turned unsightly. Without hesitation, she charged forward. Amidst the earth-shattering explosions, the 2 terrifying immortal emperors' powers continued to surge, shattering one battlefield after another. After an unknown period of time, when a new world battlefield appeared, the 2 figures once again pulled apart the distance between them. Centauria Empress appeared. Her aura was clearly in disarray. As for Chu Bei, although he could also sense the fluctuations in his aura, it was clearly much more stable than Centauria Empress. Let's stop here. I promise that I won't invade your All Heaven's Shop's Emperor District in the future. I'm also willing to give Flowing Water River to you. Flower Empress stared at Chu Bei. Wiping the blood from her mouth, she spoke coolly. It was not difficult to hear that there was a hint of compromise in his words. Is this a truce? How boring. 100 Blossoms sure is ruthless. They're actually willing to give up Flowing Water River. I've been eyeing it for a long time. Speaking of which, the owner of the All Heaven Shop is much stronger than we expected. He should have reached 2 stars already. The immortal emperors of the other emperor prefectures in High Heavens responded. What? The Empress wants to give up the Lushui River. The elders of the 100 Flowers Valley looked at each other as if they had heard something impossible. They seemed to have lost their souls. I've said it before, this battle is a battle of life and death. Chu Bei's voice was cold and indifferent, and it didn't contain the slightest emotion. He ignored the 100 Flowers Empress compromise and unleashed another terrifying attack. If that's the case, then let's fight to the death. The 100 Flowers Empress was clearly angered by Chu Bei's answer. In the next moment, the dense purple aura around his body boiled and rolled out. A thunderous voice echoed in the world battlefield. Let me create a more stable battlefield. As his indifferent voice fell, Chu Bei stood on top of the Bodhi ancient tree and took a step forward. The moment the heavenly jewel flew out from between his eyebrows, the stars shone brilliantly, and the heavens and earth changed. Then, a blazing rainbow bridge stretched from the world battlefield. They were into another world that was even more dazzling. A battle of life and death. Is the owner of the all-heaven shop really going to do this? If that's the case, then one of them is bound to die. What's going on with that world? It's even more perfect than the average immortal emperor's world. It has something to do with that stone bead. The group of powerhouses stared at the heavenly jewel world created by Chu Bei in the distant sky, and they were all dumbfounded. In that world, Chu Bei's blood aura was like an ocean, and the heavenly vision wrapped around his body. The dazzling immortal emperor's light filled the air. Kill. In the battlefield, the 100 Flowers Empress glared at Chu Bei, and her cold voice shattered countless starfields. Then, she made the first move. Her emperor's body expanded, and her purple hair was like a river of stars. Her eyes were like lightning. In her dharma, imperial flowers bloomed, and a myriad of phenomena appeared. Clouds swirled around, and purple clouds flowed. The heavenly vision towered in the heavenly jewel world, and the surrounding starfield seemed insignificant in front of it. In the next moment, with a buzzing sound, a treasure wheel flew out from the 100 Flowers Empress Dharma, shining with a cold light. The treasure wheel danced in the air, and countless imperial flowers spun on it. Each imperial flower was a world of its own, and contained boundless divine power. The 100 Flowers Treasure Wheel. That's the Empress Tao proving origin emperor weapon. She's really going to fight to the death. After this battle, no matter who wins or loses, one of the 100 Flowers Valley and the All-Heaven Shop will disappear forever. Seeing the treasure wheel in the 100 Flowers Empress hand, all kinds of voices sounded. The Tao-proving immortal emperor weapon was directly related to the immortal emperor's origin. It could even be said that it was a part of the immortal emperor. Once the Tao-proving immortal emperor weapon was damaged, the immortal emperor's origin would also be severely damaged. Because of this, even in a battle between immortal emperors, they would not use their Tao-proving immortal emperor weapons unless they had no other choice. When that time came, it would signify the beginning of the battle to the death. Imperial Flower Treasure Wheel, Chaos Transformation, Kill. The 100 Flowers Empress seemed to have entered a trance. The purple aura around her became as red as blood, and her aura became even more terrifying. Holding the 100 Flowers Treasure Wheel, she seemed to have frozen the heavenly jewel world and suppressed Chu Bei. The treasure wheel spun wildly, and a blinding, immortal emperor divine light shot out. Various ancient worlds appeared in the flower petals, connected by the immortal emperor energy, and unleashed their full profundities. Chu Bei's expression did not change. With a wave of his right hand, the Bodhi tree, Path Understanding tree, World tree, the Golden Disc, and Xiao Hei's energy merged together, forming a 5-colored longsword. Following that, Chu Bei's figure flashed, and directly entered the 5-colored longsword to meet the 100 Flowers Treasure Wheel. Rumble. At this moment, the 100 Flowers Empress hands danced, and under her guidance, the terrifying power in the 100 Flowers Treasure Wheel exploded. In an instant, the vision and divine sense of all the powerhouses watching the battle were robbed by the dazzling light in the heavenly jewel world. When they could see everything in the starfield again, the heavenly jewel world that seemed to have gone through a destructive riot had quieted down. Chapter 650. Is it over? Who won? Where did the 100 Flower Empress and the All-Heaven Shop owner go? Just as the powerhouses were staring in shock at the empty heavenly jewel world, a buzzing sound rang out, and the 100 Flower Treasure Wheel appeared in front of them. Look, the 100 Flower Treasure Wheel has appeared. The Empress must have one. Haha, I knew that the All-Heaven Shop owner was no match for the Empress. He must be dead. Seeing the 100 Flower Treasure Wheel, the elder of the 100 Flower Valley was excited, but the people of the All-Heaven Shop were worried. However, before the excited voices of the 100 Flower Valley's elders could fade away, the 100 Flower Treasure Wheel shattered with a crack and exploded into thousands of pieces. The 100 Flower Treasure Wheel shattered. What's going on? No way. Did the Empress lose? The smile on the 100-Flower Valley elder's face suddenly froze when he saw the treasured wheel explode into thousands of pieces and dissipate into a rain of light. His face instantly darkened. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. When the 100-flower treasure wheel dissipated, another ripple appeared in the silent battlefield. At this moment, the 100-Flower Valley elders and all Heaven's Shop's powerhouses' hearts were in their throats. They held their breaths and stared unblinkingly at the ripple where two figures slowly appeared. The result of the battle between the All Heaven's Shop owner and the 100-Flower Empress was directly related to the survival of the two Emperor-class factions. The 100-Flower Empress was the first to appear, the imperial flowers behind her wilting one by one. Her aura was extremely weak, and bright blood floated around her body. On the other hand, Chu Bei's aura was much more stable than the 100-Flower Empress. The 5-colored long sword in his hand was still there, emitting a strange mix of 5 different auras. The headmaster is safe and sound. Not only is he fine, he even destroyed the 100-Flower Empress Dao-proving Emperor weapon. The headmaster is mighty. Seeing Chu Bei's back on the battlefield, the All Heaven's Shop's powerhouses heaved a sigh of relief. Impossible. This Emperor's treasure wheel has been destroyed. But why is your Dao-confirming weapon unharmed? Seeing the approaching Chu Bei, Flower Empress instinctively retreated. With each step she took back, the planets on either side of her would explode. At the same time, her cold eyes stared fixedly at the 5-colored longsword in Chu Bei's hand that was formed by the golden disc, the Path Understanding Tree, and the Bodhi Tree. Her expression was full of shock. Chu Bei didn't answer Flora Emperor's question. Holding the 5-colored long sword in his hand, his body shone with Emperor's light and immortal Emperor's power. He continued to close in on Flora Empress. You can't kill me. Before Flower Empress could finish her sentence, Chu Bei swung his 5-colored sword again. Flower Empress' pupil shrank, and she tried her best to block it. But without the Wheel of Flowers, she couldn't do anything. Pooh. Flower Empress' aura was getting weaker and weaker. She spat out silver-purple blood and crushed the planets around her. It's useless. I am eternal. Even if you're an immortal emperor, you still can't kill me. Flower Empress screamed at Chu Bei, but she was met with another sword. Flower Empress' body exploded again, but quickly reformed. You can't kill me. No one can kill me. Flower Empress' body was cut apart again and again by the 5-colored longsword. It was as if she'd been possessed, and she screamed at Chu Bei like a madwoman. I can't kill you? Chu Bei suddenly laughed coldly. Then I'll refine you alive. Hum hum. Just as Chu Bei swung his sword at the 100-Flower Empress body again, a humming sound rang out. Before the 100-Flower Empress body could reassemble, a humongous lump of metal appeared out of nowhere. The iron lump opened its mouth, which seemed to contain a boundless suction force. No matter how much Flower Empress' body tried to resist, it was useless. No, no. Flower Empress' terrified voice rang out from the body that was releasing Immortal Emperor's power. However, as the iron lump sucked, Flower Empress' voice became softer and softer, until it disappeared completely. The golden bowl was withdrawn, and the battlefield in the heavenly jewel world quieted down. Countless eyes were fixed on the only figure on the battlefield, all of them in a daze. He won. Our headmaster won. The powerhouses of the All Heaven's Shop were the first to recover from their shock, and they began to cheer. Excited shouts could be heard from every corner of the All Heaven's Shop in the Emperor District, and they were all in high spirits. The Empress has been suppressed. We're all immortal emperors, but why is the difference so huge? Compared to the powerhouses of the All Heaven's Shop, the elders of the 100-Flower Valley were terrified, and they looked at Chu Bei with even more fear. Especially when they saw him looking at them, a chill rose in their hearts, as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. Chu Bei reached out with his left hand, and in an instant, it was as if they were separated by an endless starry sky, and the remaining 100-Flower Valley cultivators were all imprisoned in the heavenly jewel world. Then, the 5-colored longsword swung out. Whoosh! The remaining 100-Flower Valley cultivators were all wiped out. After dealing with all the 100 Flower Valley powerhouses who invaded the Emperor District of the All-Heaven Shop, Chu Bei took a step forward and appeared directly above the 100 Flower Emperor District. He swung his sword 7 times in a row. The originally prosperous 100 Flower Emperor District was destroyed, and all the living beings were instantly annihilated by the terrifying sword gleams without a sound. Whoosh! Witnessing this scene, the other Emperor District powerhouses who were watching the battle heaved a long sigh of relief. When I wasn't around, the 100 Flower Emperor District had invaded the Emperor District of the All-Heaven Shop many times. From now on, the 100 Flower Emperor District and the 100 Flower Empress will no longer exist in the Heavenly Jewel World. At this moment, Chu Bei's voice suddenly exploded in the Heavenly Jewel World like rolling thunder. It shook the hearts of every Emperor District powerhouse, and it was filled with supreme majesty. The wrath of an immortal emperor. Not only did he destroy an emperor-level force, but he also destroyed an entire Emperor District. How can one not establish some prestige after reaching the immortal Emperor realm? With the 100 Flower Valley as an example, I'm afraid no other Emperor-level force would dare to target the All-Heaven Shop. That's right. Even those veteran Emperor-level forces have to consider the methods of the owner of the All-Heaven Shop. The powerhouses of the Emperor District side. Intermediate 2 stars. He can already enter the top 20 among us. In any case, I'm no match for him. It's just that in just 30 years, the number has increased from 40 to 39. The owner of the All-Heaven Shop isn't a pushover either. The immortal emperors of the various Emperor District looked at each other from afar and communicated with each other through divine telekinesis. Then, they withdrew their auras and fell into a deep sleep again. Master. When Chu Bei put the heavenly jewels back into his sea of consciousness and returned to the All-Heaven Shop, Bu Xian, Bing Tong Tong, and Little Dragon Phoenix immediately ran up excitedly and bowed respectfully. Not bad. You've all improved quite a bit. After sensing Bu Xian, Bing Tong Tong, and Little Dragon Phoenix's auras, Chu Bei nodded in satisfaction. In just 30 years, these 3 little fellows had all entered the divine fire realm, especially Bu Xian, who had even touched the threshold of the true self realm. Chapter 651. His innate talent was comparable to the children of destiny he had recruited from the Devata realms. After he suppressed the 100 Flower Empress, another message from the system appeared in his sea of consciousness. It was about the Celestial Emperor realm. Just as he thought, the Immortal Emperor realm also had a more detailed division of levels, from 1 star to 9 stars of the Immortal Emperor realm. Unlike the quasi-celestial Emperor realm where every 3 stars was a huge gap, in the Celestial Emperor realm, every star was a huge gap. Every 3 stars was like a new transformation. As far as he knew, the biggest difference between a 3-star Celestial Emperor and a 4-star Celestial Emperor was the condensation and mobilization of Genesis Heaven energy. As for how to condense Genesis Heaven energy, Chu Bei had no idea. However, there was a drop of Genesis Heaven energy in the funnel in the system interface in his sea of consciousness. Have you heard? The number of Celestial Emperors in the high heavens has increased to 39. How can we not know about such explosive news? I just came out of closed-door cultivation. What did I miss? Hurry up and tell me. Have you heard of the 100 Flower Empress in the high heavens? She took advantage of the absence of the owner of the All-Heaven Shop to lead a team to invade the Emperor Province. Unexpectedly, the owner of the All-Heaven Shop returned at the critical moment. Then, a battle between celestial emperors broke out. In the end, the 100 Flower Empress was suppressed. No one knows if she's dead or alive. The entire 100 Flower Emperor province was destroyed by the owner of the All-Heaven Shop. 3 days had passed since the battle between Chu Bei and the 100 Flower Empress. In these 3 days, news of the battle between celestial emperors in the high heavens had spread throughout the chaotic great regions. Many powerhouses from various great regions were discussing this matter. The Netherworld, 1 Yuan Emperor Province. Above the lush, heavenly peak mountain, a man in a purple robe stood with his hands behind his back as he stared in the direction of the high heavens. Lord Emperor Yuan, the owner of the All-Heaven Shop should have entered the 2 stars, right? A perfected quasi-celestial emperor looked at Emperor Yuan respectfully. Emperor Yuan nodded. Otherwise, how could he suppress the 100-flower empress? All Heaven's Shop, Emperor District. After the Battle of Emperors, the experts of the All Heaven's Shop began to rebuild their devastated home. Although only 3 days had passed, the All Heaven's Shop had mostly recovered in Emperor District. Furthermore, due to Chu Bei's return, all the living beings in Emperor District were immersed in an atmosphere of excitement and joy. As for Chu Bei, he had spent the past 3 days preaching to the experts in the sect. Of course, the so-called Tao was nothing more than a copy of the system's information. Another 5 days of peace passed. On the 6th day, the Bu couple arrived at Chu Bei's residence excitedly. Lord Sect Master, the Genesis Heaven Array is moving. The Source Heaven Stone Mine is about to appear. The Bu couple's slightly flustered voice filled an exquisite and luxurious courtyard. Just as they shouted, Chu Bei appeared in front of the two of them. Greetings, sect leader. The Bu couple hurriedly bowed. At this moment, the primordial dragon phoenix, Hong Meng, and some other experts of the All Heaven Shop also rushed over, including Bu Xian, Bing Tong Tong, and Little Dragon Phoenix. Chu Bei immediately lifted the Bu couple up. Then, a ripple appeared, and in the next moment, he appeared above a concave valley with a group of people. Looking down, he saw a huge and strange formation rune in the middle of the valley. At this moment, each pattern seemed to have come alive. In addition to emitting a bewitching and gorgeous light, there was also an ear-piercing buzzing sound. Vaguely, this strange formation pattern seemed to be emitting a suction force. As time passed, this suction force became stronger and more terrifying. Lord Sect Master, the Genesis Heaven Array only takes effect for a moment. Once you miss it, you won't be able to enter. Therefore, other than us, the only forces that can enter through the Genesis Heaven Array are those like us who know about the Source Heaven Stone Mine from the beginning and are prepared, said the Bu couple. Thank you for your hard work. Chu Bei nodded slightly. Snatching the Source Heaven Stone Mine was the system's side mission. 30 years ago, the Bu clan was exterminated because they knew about the Source Heaven Stone Mine. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. As time passed, the Genesis Heaven Array in the valley vibrated more and more violently. Lord Sect Master, they're here. Suddenly, the Bu couple's pupils shrank. The moment they finished speaking, the Genesis Heaven Array spewed out dazzling divine light, instantly enveloping Chu Bei, the primordial dragon phoenix, and the other experts above. With a loud boom, the Genesis Heaven Array, Chu Bei, the primordial dragon phoenix, and the others all disappeared. A moment later, a flash of dazzling white light appeared. This was a strange world that was enshrouded in dense light and mist. It was hazy, mysterious, and profound. Lord Sect Master, where are we? Are we still above the heavens? The All Heaven Shop experts looked around, then looked at Chu Bei with puzzled eyes. As far as the eye could see, the hazy mist and turbulent chaos made everything look blurry. It was as if there was no one else in this world besides them. Before Chu Bei could speak, the hazy world seemed to welcome Chu Bei and the others' appearance. The hazy white mist gradually dissipated, and their divine consciousness could spread far and wide. The next moment, the All Heaven Shop experts began to carefully size up this strange world. What entered their eyes was a desolate sight, and it seemed incomparably bleak and distant. Looking ahead, they saw a large stretch of ruins. What might have once been a magnificent palace was now only broken walls and ruins. Is the Source Heaven Stone Mine in this world? An expert flew toward the ruins, which were covered in rubble. Master, have you been here before? Bu Xian looked at Chu Bei and asked tentatively. The once grand palaces and halls had all been reduced to rubble. While everyone was curious, they were also amazed by the passage of time. Behind the empty ruins, there was a majestic mountain range. It was majestic and sacred. What is this? Suddenly, a ball of light lit up in the ruins, attracting Hong Meng's attention. As Hong Meng murmured, he waved his right hand. The ball of light dissipated, and a stone tablet fell into his hand. This stone tablet was carved from an unknown stone. Even after countless years of destruction, it was still surrounded by Emperor Qi and was not damaged in the slightest. There were 5 large words engraved on the tablet. Each word emitted a faint light and was faintly discernible. The Great Lost Domain. The 5 large words were written with vigorous momentum. They were like swimming dragons, vivid and lifelike. What? The Great Lost Domain. The primordial dragon phoenix was stunned and exclaimed when she heard Hongmeng's words. Chapter 652. The primeval dragon phoenix's exclamation caused Hongmeng, the Bu couple, Chu Bei, and everyone else to look at the primeval dragon phoenix. Their faces were filled with confusion. Rumor has it that other than the current 10,008 great domains, there are still some great domains that have been lost. At their peak, every single one of these lost domains were far more powerful than the 9 strongest domains of today. Meeting everyone's gazes, the primordial dragon phoenix began to reveal the secrets she knew. I used to think that this rumor was fake, but now that I've seen this plaque with the aura of the immortal emperor, perhaps this lost region really does exist. The world we're in now is a great lost domain. As for the celestial emperor who carved the words Great Lost Domain on the stone plaque, he must have discovered some secrets here and concluded that this world is the Great Lost Domain. The primordial dragon phoenix let out a long sigh. If these great lost domains are even more terrifying than the 9 strongest domains, why are they so desolate without any signs of life? Hongmeng was even more confused when he heard the primordial dragon phoenix's words. I don't know. This time, the primordial dragon phoenix shook its head. It also did not understand why the great lost domain was in such a state. Rumble. Suddenly, an earth-shattering rumble came from above the ruins. In the next moment, an extremely blurry image appeared. Whether it was the primordial dragon phoenix, Hongmeng, or even someone as powerful as Chu Bei could not see the image clearly even after using the power of an immortal emperor. In the blurry image, 2 figures could be seen fighting fiercely, destroying one great domain after another. Who are they? Could it be that the 2 of them were the ones who caused this great lost territory to fall into such a miserable state? This is a great lost domain that's even more powerful than the 9 strongest domains. There should be at least 50 immortal emperors. Where did those immortal emperors go? They couldn't have died in the aftermath of their battle, right? The blurry image dissipated. The group of powerhouses seemed to have thought of something. After some guessing, their faces were filled with shock. Rumble. At this moment, another loud rumble came. Accompanied by this rumble, a scarlet-red light lit up in the depths of the great lost domain. After a while, a majestic aura spread from the scarlet-red light, instantly sweeping towards the ruins where Chu Bei and the others were. This is the aura of the Source Heaven Stone. Is that where the Source Heaven Stone mine is located? This refreshing chi made his soul feel refreshed. It was as if a magical warm current had flowed into every cell in his body. The All Heaven Shop's experts exclaimed excitedly when they came to their senses. Let's go, Chu Bei said. He waved his sleeves and disappeared with the ancient dragon phoenix and the other experts. Heading east, they passed through mountains and rivers that contained mysterious power, and then passed through a barren land. Finally, Chu Bei's group arrived at a vast flat area. Although there were very few trees in the area, the Genesis Heaven aura that filled the area grew increasingly dense. As far as the eye could see, there were countless ancient buildings in this area. However, most of the buildings were dilapidated and very few were intact. Some of the buildings had been reduced to ruins, just like the area where Chu Bei and the others had arrived. Even so, one could still sense the terrifying residual power of the celestial emperor from the rubble that was piled up like a small mountain. These inconspicuous ruins were once stained with the blood of immortal emperors and buried their corpses. Source Heaven Stone Mine. The Bu couple exclaimed. A silver-white stone mountain wrapped in a film of ripples loomed in the direction the Bu couple pointed. In an instant, a look of excitement appeared on the faces of the experts from Chu Bei. They were brimming with joy and excitement. The silver-white stone mountain was devoid of any trees or ferocious beasts. Countless ancient buildings were scattered around the mountain, and a scarlet-red light soared into the sky above the ring-shaped mountain pass. Although they were still some distance away, they could still hear the strange explosions inside the mountain. Hong Ming pointed at the scarlet-red light above the mountain pass and said, as expected, "The scarlet-red light we saw earlier came from there. There seems to be a spiritual object in the red light." The all-heaven shop's experts exclaimed again. Chu Bei also saw the so-called spiritual object in the red light. It was shaped like a dragon, but it had a pair of wings and a single horn on its forehead instead of a dragon horn. It was very strange. Realm spirit. It really exists. So all the records are true. The primordial dragon phoenix muttered to herself as if possessed when she saw the shape of the spiritual object in the red light. She did not have the slightest steadiness that a half-step immortal emperor should have. "Lord Dragon Phoenix, what is this realm spirit you speak of?" The all-heaven shop's experts looked at the primordial dragon phoenix again. The primordial dragon phoenixes were natives of the great domain of the chaos heavens and had an incomparably long history. It was said that during the early days of the great domain of the chaos heavens, the primordial dragon phoenixes had given birth to several immortal emperors. They were one of the most powerful clans in the primordial era. However, for some unknown reason, in an epoch, all the immortal emperors of the primordial dragon phoenixes disappeared, and the clan began to decline from then on. It was not only the primordial dragon phoenixes, but also other ancient clans. Although they had declined, the memories passed down in their clan contained many secrets that even the immortal emperors did not know about. In my clan's inherited memories, there is a description of the realm spirit. Its shape and appearance are exactly the same as the spiritual object above the source heaven stone mine that we are seeing now. The primordial dragon phoenix looked at Chu Bei respectfully and continued, "Every great domain of the chaos heavens is enveloped by a mysterious power that surpasses the power of an immortal emperor. When a great domain disappears, this mysterious power will condense over millions of years and give birth to an existence called the realm spirit. The one who obtains the realm spirit controls the great domain." What? If that's the case, if we can obtain the realm spirit, we will have control of the great lost domain. The all-heaven shop's experts reacted quickly after hearing the primordial dragon phoenix's words. The primordial dragon phoenix nodded. "As long as we subdue the realm spirit, we can control the great domain. As for the source heaven stone mine, it will naturally become our possession." Chu Bei's eyes lit up when he heard the primordial dragon phoenix's words. He looked at the realm spirit above the source heaven stone mine with a burning gaze. Buzz, buzz, buzz. However, before Chu Bei and the others could do anything, 3 divine rainbows appeared above the source heaven stone mine. Each of the rainbows contained several figures. As expected, other forces know about the source heaven stone mine. They have also arrived. The Bu couple exclaimed when they saw the 3 forces appear above the source heaven stone mine. Chapter 653. Moonlight Empress from the Emperor State, Desolate Emperor Immortal Emperor from the Desolate Emperor State, and Xing Yun Immortal Emperor from the Star Ocean Emperor State. The primordial dragon phoenix's expression froze when she saw the leaders of the 3 forces. Sect Master, it seems a little difficult to obtain the source heaven stone mine. The primordial dragon phoenix regained her senses and looked at Chu Bei. On the immortal emperor ranking in the high heavens, the 100 Flowers Empress was ranked 38th, which was the second from the bottom. Among the 3 immortal emperors, the Moonlight Empress, Desolate Immortal Emperor, and Xing Yun Immortal Emperor were all stronger than the 100 Flowers Empress. Xing Yun Immortal Emperor was ranked 16th. As for the Moonlight Empress and Desolate Immortal Emperor, they were ranked 19th and 22nd respectively. "It's indeed a little troublesome," Chu Bei muttered to himself. Chu Bei frowned when he sensed the aura fluctuations of the 3 immortal emperors. In terms of strength, the 3 immortal emperors were on par with him. If they really fought, he was not confident that he could defeat them, even if it was a one-on-one. "Let's go over." Chu Bei led a group of experts from the All Heavens shop to the Source Heavenstone mine as soon as he finished speaking. The Moonlight Empress, Desolate Immortal Emperor, and Xing Yun Immortal Emperor were leading their respective forces quasi-immortal emperors. They were scattered around the ring-shaped mountain pass, their eyes fixed on the realm spirit above the mountain pass. Although their eyes were burning with desire, no one made a move to snatch the realm spirit. It was as if they were waiting for something. Chu Bei's arrival quickly became the focus of the three Emperor-level forces. The owner of the All Heavens shop from the Emperor's state, so they also know about the Source Heavenstone mine. The experts from the three Emperor-level forces discussed among themselves when they saw Chu Bei's arrival. Ever since Chu Bei suppressed the 100 Flowers Empress and destroyed the 100 Flowers Emperor state, his name had spread far and wide. Everyone in the high heavens knew about him. Owner of the All Heavens shop, this is the second time we've met. The Moonlight Empress smiled at Chu Bei. Chu Bei responded with a smile, which was considered polite. After setting up the All Heavens shop in the Great Heavens region, he had visited the other Emperor regions above the High Heavens. I didn't expect you to have received news about the Source Heavenstone mine as well. I wonder who will get such a great opportunity, said Immortal Emperor Yi Huang. That will depend on your strength. Immortal Emperor Xing Qiong laughed out loud. Why don't we all stop fighting? Let's just split the Source Heavenstone mine, the Moonlight Empress said with a smile. Under the moon, don't tell me you don't know that little guy is a realm spirit? Xing Qiong, Immortal Emperor, glanced at Moonlight Empress and narrowed his eyes. Don't tell me you're planning to subdue the realm spirit while we're dividing the Source Heavenstone mine? Then you'll chase us out of this lost domain and claim the Source Heavenstone mine for yourself. What nonsense are you spouting? Am I, Undermoon, that kind of person? Moonlight Empress rolled her eyes at Xing Qiong, Celestial Emperor, but judging from her expression, it was as if her plot had been exposed. Other than us, there shouldn't be any other forces, right? Immortal Emperor Yi Huang said. However, as soon as he finished speaking, ripples appeared in the east of the Source Heavenstone mine, and several figures appeared. Hey Wu. Looking at the figures shrouded in black light that suddenly appeared, the eyes of Moonlight Empress, Xing Qiong, Immortal Emperor, and Yi Huang, Immortal Emperor, instantly fell on the leader. Their pupils suddenly constricted, and their expressions instantly became solemn. If the three of them were roughly equal in strength, then He Wu was one level ahead of them. That's He Wu, Immortal Emperor from the Darkness Imperial State. He's here too. In terms of strength, He Wu, Immortal Emperor, is stronger than us. He's ranked 11th. Will the Source Heavenstone mine eventually fall into He Wu, Immortal Emperor's hands? The experts from the three great Emperor-grade forces were stunned when they recognized the last group of people. Sect Master, there's another stronger one. The primordial dragon phoenix glanced at He Wu, Immortal Emperor, and then looked at Chu Bei. He frowned. Master, are you confident? Bu Xian asked tentatively. Chu Bei remained silent as he sized up He Wu. He Wu's Immortal Emperor aura was faintly emanating from him, and it actually gave him a sense of oppression. 3-star Immortal Emperor. This was Chu Bei's judgment of He Wu, Immortal Emperor. In the east of the Source Heavenstone mine, He Wu, Immortal Emperor, was expressionless. He glanced at Moonlight Empress, Xing Qiong, Celestial Emperor, Immortal Emperor Yi Huang, and Chu Bei before finally fixing his gaze on the realm spirit. The atmosphere in the field was very strange. For a moment, no one from the 5 great Emperor-grade forces made a move. They just looked at the realm spirit quietly. Rumble. Soon, the realm spirit swayed and glanced at the 5 great Emperor-grade forces. Then, it opened its small mouth and shot out a beam of crimson light. In an instant, half of the sky above the Source Heavenstone mine was dyed crimson. Subdue the realm spirit and control the territory. It's right in front of you. Why aren't you doing anything? After a long while, Immortal Emperor Yi Huang broke the silence and looked at Moonlight Empress and Xing Qiong, Celestial Emperor. Since you can't wait any longer, I'll give you this opportunity. Moonlight Empress smiled sweetly. Immortal Emperor Yi Huang smiled awkwardly as he sensed the strange energy fluctuation released by the realm spirit. He fixed his gaze on Xing Qiong, Celestial Emperor, and said, Well, Since Xing Qiong is here first, why don't I give you this opportunity? Chu Bei cursed inwardly as he looked at Moonlight Empress, Immortal Emperor Yi Huang, and Xing Qiong, Celestial Emperor. Those who could enter this realm were indeed old monsters who had lived for countless years. The temptation of the realm spirit was right in front of them, but they could still maintain their composure. Without knowing the realm spirit's strength, no one was willing to provoke this legendary existence. The Bu couple looked at Chu Bei and asked, "Sect Master, are you going to make a move?" "No hurry." Chu Bei shook his head and looked in He Wu Immortal Emperor's direction. He Wu Immortal Emperor was obviously stronger than him. Since He Wu Immortal Emperor was observing, he naturally had to observe as well. Fine, I'll test it out first. After a long while, Immortal Emperor Yi Huang finally could not hold back anymore. As soon as he sighed, a long spear appeared in his hand. The spear was surrounded by Immortal Emperor aura. It was an Immortal Emperor weapon. Immortal Emperor Yi Huang held the spear and swung it. The tip of the spear emitted a crisp Immortal Emperor sound and a chilling aura. An icicle shot out from the tip of the spear. The icicle was so fast that it appeared in front of Yu Ling in the blink of an eye. Clang! In the next moment, the icicle hit the realm spirit with a metallic clang under the watchful eyes of several powerhouses. Immortal Emperor Yi Huang's aura rose to the peak when the attack hit the realm spirit. His body seemed to be in a tense state, ready for a fierce battle at any time. Chapter 654. Somehow, the Desolation Immortal Emperor felt that the realm spirit contained a power that made his heart palpitate, which was why he was so cautious. However, half a minute had passed since the icicle hit the realm spirit, and the realm spirit did not move at all. Am I being paranoid? The Desolation Immortal Emperor frowned and stared at the realm spirit with a puzzled expression. After a while, the realm spirit still showed no signs of going berserk. At this moment, the Moonlight Empress, Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor, and even the more powerful He Wu Immortal Emperor began to surge with their Immortal Emperor powers. Including Chu Bei and Xiao He, their powers began to gather and were ready to attack at any time. Haha, it seems like you're all overthinking. The rumored realm spirit is not a threat at all. I should thank you for letting me make the first move. The Desolation Immortal Emperor's eyes lit up as he laughed excitedly and reached out to grab the realm spirit. At this moment, the Moonlight Empress, Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor, and He Wu Immortal Emperor's aura reached its peak. The five-colored sword appeared in Chu Bei's hand. However, just as the four of them were about to fight for the realm spirit, the Source Heaven Stone Mine below suddenly let out a strange roar. When Chu Bei and the others entered the Lost Territory, a shocking event happened in the outside world. Have you heard? 5 Perfection Stage Immortal Emperors appeared out of thin air in the Genesis Emperor state. What? Appeared out of thin air? These are Perfection Stage Immortal Emperors who are about to step into the Immortal Emperor realm. No one knows where they came from? That's right. Any Perfection Stage Immortal Emperor in an Emperor-level force is definitely a Grand Elder. Their status is second only to the Immortal Emperor of that Emperor-level force. According to the rumors, these 5 perfect stage quasi-immortal emperors came from a place called West Earth. They defeated the guardian of that world and came to our great domain of primal chaos. West Earth? Isn't that the world where the Genesis Immortal Emperor Yuanling was born? Oh my god. Doesn't that mean the Genesis Emperor state has 5 new perfection stage immortal emperors? The Genesis Immortal Emperor is ranked 6th on the Immortal Emperor rankings of the high heavens. If these 5 peak stage quasi-immortal emperors join, the influence of the Genesis Emperor state will reach a terrifying level. However, according to the information I received, these 5 peak stage quasi-immortal emperors from the West Earth don't seem to want to stay in the Genesis Emperor state. Instead, they want to join the All-Heaven Shop. All-Heaven Shop? How could this be? Didn't they come from the same place as the Genesis Immortal Emperor? Moreover, in terms of strength, the Genesis Immortal Emperor was far stronger than the All-Heaven Shop owner. Why would they want to join the All-Heaven Shop? Who knows? I'm afraid only those 5 peak stage quasi-immortal emperors would know. In a corner of the high heavens, there were experts gathered together, intensely discussing the latest major event. Above the high heavens, in the Creator-Emperor state, in Emperor District, all the powerhouses raised their heads and stared at the battlefield in the distant sky that formed a world of its own. There were 6 figures on the battlefield, and 5 of them were standing side by side. These 5 figures' auras were all peak stage quasi-immortal emperors, and there was an incomparably huge energy storm revolving behind them. If Chu Bei were here, he would immediately recognize the 5 disciples he had taken in the Hongming West travel realm: Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, Sha Wujing, Golden Cicada, and Ao Lai. At this moment, Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the other 4 were solemnly looking at the figure opposite them. It was a white-haired old man in a long robe. His aura was restrained, but he gave off an oppressive feeling that made one unable to resist him. The white-haired old man was the Genesis Immortal Emperor, who was also ranked 6th on the Immortal Emperor rankings. You all came from the West Earth, so you can be considered as living beings created by me. Now that you've come to the Great Heavens domain, you want to join the All-Heaven Shop? The Genesis Immortal Emperor looked coldly at Sun Wukong and the other 4. What is the meaning of this? Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the other 4 seemed to have been suppressed and could not move. The All-Heaven Shop owner is my master. Since we're here, we naturally have to return to his sect. Your master? How can he go to the West Earth? The Genesis Immortal Emperor snorted when he heard Sun Wukong and the others' words. Since you're so stubborn, I can only imprison you for a while until you think things through. As soon as he finished speaking, 5 silvery white cages appeared out of thin air around Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the others, imprisoning them. In the next moment, the world battlefield in the sky disappeared amidst a buzzing sound. The Genesis Origin Spirit Immortal Emperor, Sun Wukong, and the others also disappeared. Sigh, I really don't understand. Wouldn't it be better for the 5 of them to join our Emperor province? The experts from the Genesis Emperor state retracted their gazes and exchanged glances with one another before sighing in unison. On the other side, at the center of the Great Lost Territory, in the sky above the Source Heaven Stone Mine, just as Yi Huang Immortal Emperor reached out to grab the realm spirit, a strange rumbling sound suddenly came from the mine. Then, a translucent white dragon flew out of the mine and attacked Yi Huang Immortal Emperor with a monstrous momentum. Sensing the danger, Yi Huang Immortal Emperor immediately retreated and threw out his imperial spear at the same time. Crack! At the moment of collision, Yi Huang Immortal Emperor's imperial spear bounced back and cracks appeared on the body of the spear. On the other hand, the white dragon was not damaged at all. It was also at this moment that the realm spirit, which was originally a little sluggish, landed on top of the white dragon's head and swayed back and forth. At this moment, it was cheering like a child. Yi Huang, this little guy seems to be laughing at you. Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor teased Yi Huang Immortal Emperor as he looked at the realm spirit that was full of spirituality. Yi Huang Immortal Emperor's face darkened when he heard Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor's words. When he looked at the realm spirit again, a cold light flickered in his eyes. Soon, Yi Huang Immortal Emperor's power rose as he directly used his strongest paragon skill to attack the realm spirit. The realm spirit above the white dragon's head seemed to have sensed Yi Huang Immortal Emperor's hostility and suddenly stopped swaying. It let out a strange trembling sound from its mouth and then turned into a divine light to meet Yi Huang Immortal Emperor. Boom! When Yi Huang Immortal Emperor and the realm spirit collided, 2 different terrifying forces first blended and then swept out. If the powerhouses of the 5 forces did not have the protection of immortal emperors, just the aftermath of the collision alone would be difficult for them to resist. The 2 sides were in a stalemate for a long time. Then, there was a loud bang as immortal light filled the sky and an incomparably terrifying energy storm radiated in all directions. Yi Huang Immortal Emperor and the realm spirit separated at the same time, and each retreated a distance away. 2 stars. Through the battle between the realm spirit and Yi Huang Immortal Emperor, the Undermoon Empress and Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor instantly determined the realm spirit's strength. Chapter 655. Although the realm spirit was strong, it was also two stars like them, so there was still hope for them to subdue it. The Moonlight Empress and Xingqiang Immortal Emperor no longer hesitated and attacked at the same time. You two are really something. Immortal Emperor Wan Huang glared fiercely at the Moonlight Empress and Xingqiang Immortal Emperor. After stabilizing himself, he attacked the realm spirit again, as if afraid that he would be a step too slow. Rumble. Immortal Emperor power surged above the source Heaven Stone Mine as all kinds of Emperor arts flew in all directions. Immortal Emperor Wan Huang, Moonlight Empress, and Xingqiang Immortal Emperor each unleashed their strongest attacks to capture the strange-looking realm spirit. At first, the realm spirit fought with the three Immortal Emperors, but when it discovered that none of them were weaker than it, fear crept into its little face. As time passed, the realm spirit stopped fighting and tried to escape from the three Immortal Emperors' encirclement. However, the three Immortal Emperors were well aware of the realm spirit's intentions. Every time they unleashed their strongest Emperor arts, they would confine the space and time around it. Would you like to join in now, Lord Headmaster? The All-Heaven Shop powerhouse asked Chu Bei as he looked at the battlefield above him. Chu Bei shook his head without a word. Setting aside the fact that Immortal Emperor He Wu hadn't made his move yet, the realm spirit's strength alone wasn't something he could easily subdue. Of course, there was another reason Chu Bei hadn't made his move yet. Although the realm spirit only wanted to escape, it was extremely cunning. Every time it was in danger, it would immediately approach one of the Immortal Emperors and allow the Immortal Emperor to attack it. However, it was precisely because of this that the other two Immortal Emperors would immediately attack the Immortal Emperor. After all, they didn't want the Immortal Emperor to subdue the realm spirit. Once the realm spirit was subdued, the lost realm would be under its control, and the source Heaven Stone Mine would naturally fall into the hands of the Immortal Emperor. Damn it! We won't be able to get it at all if this continues. Why don't we join forces to take it down first and decide who it belongs to later? Immortal Emperor Wan Huang, Xingqiang Immortal Emperor, and Moonlight Empress seemed to have reached a consensus and joined forces to suppress the realm spirit. Noticing the change in the battle situation, realm spirit became even more panicked. His eyes turned quickly, first looking at Chu Bei, then at He Wu Immortal Emperor, and then at He Wu Immortal Emperor. Finally, he let out a strange cry and flew towards He Wu Immortal Emperor. This guy. The expressions of Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress changed when they witnessed this scene. The arrival of He Wu Immortal Emperor had given them a lot of pressure. While they were attacking, they had been paying attention to He Wu Celestial Emperor. Although they didn't know why He Wu Celestial Emperor didn't attack, they didn't think too much about it. They just wanted to subdue the realm spirit. Yet, even though Immortal Emperor He Wu did not attack, the realm spirit insisted on flying toward him. Under such circumstances, Immortal Emperor He Wu couldn't possibly remain indifferent, right? Indeed, when realm spirit flew toward Black Void Immortal Emperor, who had been watching like a spectator, suddenly stretched out his right hand. With a buzzing sound, the black mist around his body gathered towards his palm and condensed into a black lightsaber. Just as the lightsaber was about to pierce the realm spirit, it split into 9. In an instant, 9 identical lightsabers formed a ring around the realm spirit. Then, the tips of the lightsabers flashed with silver light at the same time. Electric currents appeared as the Celestial Emperor's power surged. In the next moment, the space where the realm spirit was located was torn apart by the Celestial Emperor's power, causing some distortions to appear. Immediately after, black mist rapidly emerged and condensed into a black light layer that was more than a foot thick. The inner surface of the light layer was densely covered with silver lightning, and the crackling sound of thunder was incessant. ZZ. Trapped, the realm spirit began to madly attack the light layer around it. However, no matter how hard it tried, it could not break through the seemingly thin light layer. Gradually, the realm spirit's screams were filled with fear. In the end, it even looked at Celestial Emperor Baron, the Undermoon Empress, and Celestial Emperor Xingqiang as if it was asking for help. Chila. Immortal Emperor He Wu pointed a finger, and a black shackle penetrated the light prison and wrapped around the realm spirit in an instant. Zizi, bound by the black shackle, the realm spirit's expression instantly became pained as it struggled continuously. He's refining the realm spirit. No, we can't let him succeed. If he subdues the realm spirit, we won't have any chance of getting the source heaven stone mine. Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress expressions changed drastically when they saw Immortal Emperor He Wu penetrating his origin energy into the realm spirit's body. After exchanging a glance, they simultaneously attacked Immortal Emperor He Wu with their Supreme Emperor techniques. Are you going to attack me? Immortal Emperor He Wu's cold voice sounded in the face of the attacks from the Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his right hand and waved it. Black divine light surged like a surging river toward the Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress. Rumble, rumble. The combined attacks of the Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress collided with Immortal Emperor He Wu's black divine light, setting off a terrifying Celestial Emperor-level energy storm. Dao flowers bloomed at the location of the explosion, and Celestial Emperor techniques were annihilated, constantly fusing and resisting. Sect Master, it seems that Immortal Emperor He Wu is going to subdue the realm spirit, as expected of the 11th-ranked Celestial Emperor. Even when facing the Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress at the same time, he's still able to hold his own. The primordial dragon phoenix and Hong Ming stared in the direction of the battlefield and spoke one after another. In their opinion, Chu Bei had yet to make a move, which meant that he had given up the right to fight for the realm spirit. The host has obtained the realm spirit and can now use Source Heaven's power. Just as Chu Bei was thinking about how to subdue the realm spirit and obtain the Source Heaven stone mine to complete the system mission, the mechanical system's voice sounded in his mind. Chu Bei was taken aback at first, but when he came back to his senses, he immediately looked at the system interface. On the Source Heaven page, there was a bright button next to the funnel that contained a drop of Source Heaven's power. Below the button, there was a very detailed explanation of how to mobilize Source Heaven's power. After reading the explanation, the worry on Chu Bei's face was instantly replaced by joy. At the same time, the battle between the Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, the Undermoon Empress, and the Undermoon Empress became even more intense. Is this guy already so terrifying? The three of us can't defeat him even if we join forces. There's not much time left for us. Celestial Emperor Baron, Celestial Emperor Xingqiang, and the Undermoon Empress faces grew increasingly gloomy and anxious as they looked at the lifeless realm spirit in the light prison. They hadn't held back from the beginning, but even so, they still couldn't defeat the Immortal Emperor He Wu. It wasn't that they were weak, but the Immortal Emperor He Wu was too powerful. Chapter 656. Is this the power of a peak 3-star? As time passed, the Yi Huang Immortal Emperor, the Xingqiang Immortal Emperor, and the Moonlight Empress looked helpless and unwilling. In the end, they stopped attacking as if they were unwilling to do any more useless work. This is for the best. The He Wu Immortal Emperor glanced at the Yi Huang Immortal Emperor, the Xingqiang Immortal Emperor, and the Moonlight Empress. His left hand shot out a ray of black light as he began to subdue the realm spirit. That's great. The Source Heaven Stone Mine is going to fall into the hands of the Master Celestial Emperor. It's fortunate that none of the top 10 Celestial Emperors knew about the Source Heaven Stone Mine. Yes, otherwise, it would be difficult for the Master Celestial Emperor to subdue the realm spirit. The powerhouses of the He Wu Immortal State were overjoyed when they saw the scene above them. However, just as the He Wu Immortal Emperor was about to reach the final stage, a 5-colored sword ray wrapped in white ripples slashed across the sky and struck the light prison that imprisoned the realm spirit. Boom! With a loud bang, the light prison shattered and the shackles that bound the realm spirit broke into several pieces. That wasn't the end of it. Eventually, the 5-colored sword light, penetrated the realm spirit's body and forced the He Wu Immortal Emperor's origin power out of her body. When Immortal Emperor He Wu's origin power was forced out by the five-colored sword light, the lifeless realm spirit seemed to have been reborn. Buzz! The realm spirit cried out excitedly. However, when it thought it had regained its freedom and was about to escape, it was shocked to find that it was still imprisoned by another force. Moreover, this force seemed to be superior to the dark force that had restrained it earlier. Who is it? The He Wu Immortal Emperor's face darkened. He immediately looked at the Yi Huang Immortal Emperor, the Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor, and the Moonlight Empress. Not long after, his gaze moved away from the three celestial emperors and finally landed on Chu Bei. His gaze was sharp. At this moment, the He Wu Celestial Emperor, the Yi Huang Celestial Emperor, the Xing Qiong Celestial Emperor, the Undermoon Empress, and the other powerhouses were all looking at Chu Bei. How is this possible? Even the three of us can't defeat He Wu. How did he do it? His strength is on par with ours. He's also a 2 stars, but He Wu is a 3-star. No, his aura had changed. I can't see through it. What's going on? How strange. The Baron Celestial Emperor, the Xing Qiong Celestial Emperor, and the Undermoon Empress looked at Chu Bei again before they spoke one after another. Apart from shock, there was more confusion on their faces. Has the sect leader made a move? Even the three immortal emperors couldn't snatch the realm spirit from Immortal Emperor He Wu, but Lord Sect Leader did it. Could it be that Lord Sect Leader is stronger than He Wu Immortal Emperor? That can't be. Although the Sect Leader is stronger than Flower Empress, he should be on par with Moonlight Empress. But Immortal Emperor He Wu is ranked 11th. The Primordial Dragon Phoenix, Hong Ming, and the rest of the All Heavens Shops powerhouses looked at Chu Bei's back in confusion. Immortal Emperor He Wu frowned. He did not speak, but pointed his right hand at Chu Bei's direction. With a buzzing sound, 9 long swords shot out from his palm one after another. The moment they shot out, the 9 light swords overlapped, and the terrifying aura released from the tip of the swords increased tremendously. The Baron Celestial Emperor, the Xing Qiong Celestial Emperor, and the Undermoon Empress were stunned when they sensed the aura contained in the swords. Immortal Emperor He Wu did not hold back at all in this attack. However, Chu Bei was unfazed by the 3-star Immortal Emperor He Wu's attack. He also swung his sword. Suddenly, the 2 sword rays intertwined and collided on the battlefield. Swoosh! The 5-colored sword rays were on the verge of collapse. However, just as they were about to be annihilated, a layer of blue ripples appeared on the outer layer. It looked like a water droplet, but it carried a mysterious aura of a higher level. Crack! With the appearance of the water droplet, the 5-colored sword rays seemed to have been strengthened and evolved. With a crisp sound, it destroyed Immortal Emperor He Wu's attack. In the next moment, the mysterious water droplet wrapped around the 5-colored sword rays and shot toward Immortal Emperor He Wu. This is the origin heaven energy. Immortal Emperor He Wu's expression changed for the first time when he saw the blue water droplet charging toward him. A hint of fear appeared on his face. Immortal Emperor He Wu's expression turned grave. He did not dare to be careless. He gathered all of his Celestial Emperor Qi on his fists, and his aura rose to the peak as he charged toward the blue water droplet. Even so, he was still sent flying with a loud bang. His aura became chaotic in an instant. Fortunately, the blue water droplet did not continue to attack him. Instead, it transformed into a giant hand and grabbed the realm spirit. Zizi! The realm spirit's eyes widened when she saw the giant hand coming toward her. She screamed in fear, but she could not move at all. She could only let the giant hand grab her. He has condensed the origin heaven energy. That's impossible. Isn't that the sign of breaking through to the 4-star realm? Is the owner of the All Heavens shop a 4-star Celestial Emperor? But when he fought with 100 Flowers earlier, his energy fluctuation was only 2-star. He's hiding his strength. He was hiding his strength earlier. The Desolation Celestial Emperor, the Xing Qiong Celestial Emperor, and the Moonlight Empress looked at the giant blue hand and sensed the mysterious power contained in it. They looked at each other, and then at Chu Bei in shock. Lord Sect Master. He's a 4-star celestial emperor. In the entire high heavens, there are only 10 4-star celestial emperors. The All Heaven Shop's experts were also stunned. Their expressions were blank, as though they had gone numb. After recovering from the shock, their faces were filled with joy. This meant that the All Heaven Shop would be able to go even further and even rank in the top 10 forces in the high heavens. After all, the ranking of an emperor-grade force depended on the strength of its celestial emperor. ZZ. On the battlefield, as the giant blue hand clenched, the realm spirit's cries became more painful. At that moment, Chu Bei received a message from the realm spirit. It was begging for mercy and taking the initiative to acknowledge him as its master. Then, a green light flew from the realm spirit's glabella to Chu Bei. The moment Chu Bei caught the green light, he suddenly felt an indescribable connection with the lost territory. Then, with a thought from Chu Bei, the source heaven stone mine below trembled violently. The lost territory also trembled. Did he subdue the realm spirit? I didn't expect the owner of the All Heaven Shop to have hidden his strength so well. The Desolation Celestial Emperor, the Xing Qiong Celestial Emperor, and the Moonlight Empress frowned when they felt the repulsive force surging from all directions. Even the Hei Wu Celestial Emperor's expression was extremely ugly. Boom! Chapter 657. Buzz. With a loud boom, everyone except the experts from the All Heaven Shop, including the Celestial Emperors, disappeared from the area. We got it. We got the Source Heaven Stone Mine. The Boo couple, the Primordial Dragon Phoenix, and the other All Heaven Shop experts snapped out of their daze and cheered excitedly. Host has obtained the Source Heaven Stone Mine. Side mission completed. The system is beginning to absorb the Source Heaven Stone Mine. The system's mechanical voice rang in Chu Bei's mind. Then, the Source Heaven Stone Mine began to peel off and entered Chu Bei's body. The All Heaven Shop's experts were dumbfounded. They stood there motionless, as if they had seen the most inconceivable thing in their lives. After an unknown period of time, the Source Heaven Stone Mine finally stopped peeling off. It had shrunk to half its original size. Mission reward issued. 100 drops of Source Heaven power. 3 days left until Source Heaven power is used. Chu Bei smiled in satisfaction as he looked at the 100 drops in the funnel on the system's Source Heaven page in his knowledge sea. Just 1 drop of Source Heaven power was equivalent to a powerful attack from a 4-star Celestial Emperor. However, he wasn't a true 4-star Celestial Emperor, and the Source Heaven power was more like a consumable to him. A true 4-star Celestial Emperor could condense Source Heaven power on his own and use it endlessly. Although one would be able to condense Source Heaven power after stepping into the 4-star Celestial Emperor realm, the number of drops of Source Heaven power one could use at a time was related to the Celestial Emperor's strength. A newly ascended 4-star Celestial Emperor could only use 1 drop of Source Heaven power in battle. However, due to the system's assistance, Chu Bei was able to use as much Genesis Heaven power as he had. Sect Master, are you really a 4-star Celestial Emperor? When Chu Bei landed beside the Primordial Dragon Phoenix, the latter hurriedly asked. The other experts also looked expectant. Unfortunately, all they received was Chu Bei's mysterious smile. He didn't give them an answer. The All Heaven Shop experts, especially Hong Ming, couldn't help but feel a little helpless when they saw Chu Bei's smile. As the sect master, he always exuded a sense of mystery. Just when he thought that he could judge the other party's strength, the other party would always surprise him at some point in time, shattering his understanding. The first time he met Chu Bei was in the Coiling Dragon Plain. At that time, Chu Bei's strength was only at the great circle of the half-immortal emperor stage. When they met again, Chu Bei had established the All-Heaven Shop in the Grand Domain of Chaos. At that time, he was at the 1-star immortal emperor stage. This time, when he returned to fight with the 100 Flowers Empress, everyone thought that he was at the 2 stars immortal emperor stage. Who would have thought that he would be able to defeat the peak 3-star Hei Wu immortal emperor with Genesis Heaven power in the Great Lost Territory? Sect Master, this is the Source Heaven Stone Mine? The primordial dragon phoenix pointed at the shrunken source heaven stone mine and asked curiously, I need half of it. As for the other half, I will leave it to you to distribute. As long as you are a member of the All-Heaven shop, you will have the right to enter the Lost Territory, Chu Bei replied calmly. Thank you, Sect Master. Upon hearing Chu Bei's words, whether it was the primordial dragon phoenix, Hong Ming, or the other experts of the All-Heaven shop, they were all overjoyed. Although the Great Lost Territory was in ruins, it still contained a large amount of immortal Emperor stage sources that had yet to dissipate. Cultivating here was several times more effective than cultivating in the high heavens. In the time it took for the system to refine half of the source heaven stone mine, the news of the mine had spread throughout the high heavens. Did you guys hear the breaking news just now? If you're talking about the source heaven stone mine, then I already know. I didn't expect the owner of the All-Heaven shop to have hidden it so well. What's source heaven stone mine? So what if he's the owner of the All-Heaven shop? Stop keeping us in suspense. Let alone us, even the other immortal emperors don't know about it. Other than the All-Heaven shop, only the 4 emperor-level forces know about the source heaven stone mine. It's said that the source heaven stone mine is located in a great lost territory. The Moonlight Empress, Desolation Immortal Emperor, and Star Dome Immortal Emperor couldn't defeat Immortal Emperor He Wu even when they joined forces. However, just as Immortal Emperor He Wu was about to obtain the source heaven stone mine, the owner of the All-Heaven shop appeared and defeated Immortal Emperor He Wu. In the end, he obtained the source heaven stone mine. The owner of the All-Heaven shop defeated Immortal Emperor He Wu? Impossible. Immortal Emperor He Wu is ranked 11th on the Immortal Emperor leaderboard in the high heavens. Is your source of information accurate? It's absolutely true. At that time, there were quite a few quasi-immortal emperor-level experts who had witnessed all of this. Most importantly, the owner of the All-Heaven shop isn't a 2 stars Immortal Emperor, but a 4 stars Immortal Emperor. What? A 4 stars Immortal Emperor? For a time, experts in every corner of the high heavens were discussing the source heaven stone mine intensely. In the high heavens, in the 100 Cries Emperor district, in the center of the Emperor district, in an immortal valley surrounded by galaxies and various divine phoenixes soared in the sky, a slender figure with an indistinct figure stood in the ethereal immortal fog. He held a folding fan engraved with an immortal phoenix in his hand, and the river of time flowed in his eyes. A 4 stars Immortal Emperor? How did he manage to hide the aura of the source heaven stone? The slender figure looked in the direction of the All-Heaven shop with confusion and bewilderment in his eyes. The slender figure who sighed was Immortal Emperor Bai Ming. He was stronger than Immortal Emperor He Wu. He was a 4 stars Immortal Emperor and ranked 9th on the Immortal Emperor leaderboard. Above the high heavens, in the Blood Sea Emperor district, this great province was just like its name. As far as the eye could see, there was not a single piece of land. It was a sea that looked like blood. Or perhaps it could be said that this sea was truly formed by blood. Even the splashes of the water were filled with mysterious laws. Above the Blood Sea, a figure seemed to have awakened from a deep sleep. His gaze pierced through the starry sky and looked in the direction of the All-Heaven shop. Looks like there's another guy that I can't afford to offend. Accompanied by a distant and low voice, the figure above the sea of blood disappeared. In the Creator Emperor district above the high heavens, the Creator Original Spirit, who was dressed in a long robe, looked in the direction of the All-Heaven shop. No one knew what he was thinking. Master, the origin of the owner of the All-Heaven shop is worth pondering. It's as if he appeared out of thin air. A figure came to the Creator Original Spirit's side. If what Sun Wukong said is true, doesn't that mean he's also from West Earth? Impossible. If he's from West Earth, I'll know immediately. The Creator Original Spirit shook his head and said, It seems that it's necessary to make a trip to the All-Heaven shop's Emperor district. Almost at the same time, Immortal Emperor Divine Thoughts with Ridicule were transmitted to the Dark Emperor district, the Undermoon Emperor district, the Wild Emperor district, and the Star Ocean Emperor district. Chapter 658. I can't believe the four of you hid the news of the Source Heaven stone mine so well. It's a pity that none of you ended up in the end. Did the owner of the All Heaven shop really condense Source Heaven power? Immortal Emperor aura surged in all the Emperor continents above the high heavens. On the other side, Emperor District of the All Heaven shop. Ever since the news of Chu Bei obtaining the Source Heaven stone mine spread, the entire Emperor District was immersed in cheers. Chu Bei was currently sitting at the head of the All Heaven shop's main hall with a frown on his face. Just as he came out of the Great Lost Territory, he received a piece of news. The 5 disciples he had taken in the journey to the West Realm, Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, Sha Wujing, the Golden Cicada, and Ao Lai, had defeated the Guardian of the Journey to the West Realm and successfully came to the Great Chaotic Realm. However, what angered Chu Bei was that his 5 disciples were imprisoned by the Genesis primordial spirit before they could successfully join the All Heaven shop. Let's go. I'll take you out again. Chu Bei stood up from the head of the table and looked at Bu Xian, Bing Tong Tong, and the little dragon phoenix. Sect Master, where are you going? The primordial dragon phoenix hurriedly asked, as if she was afraid that Chu Bei would suddenly leave. The Genesis Emperor District. 4 plain syllables came out of Chu Bei's mouth. Sect Master, what are you going there for? The primordial dragon phoenix asked. I need people. Chu Bei's gaze sharpened. The 5 perfected quasi-immortal emperors imprisoned by the Genesis Immortal Emperor wouldn't be related to you, right? The primordial dragon phoenix was stunned. My personal disciples. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Bei disappeared with Bu Xian and the other 2. Sect Master, don't be too impatient. The Genesis Immortal Emperor is a supreme existence ranked 6th in the high heavens. It is said that he has already entered the peak of the 6 stars realm and is only 1 step away from the 7 stars realm. The ancient dragon phoenix seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly said. However, by the time she finished speaking, Chu Bei had already disappeared. The primordial dragon phoenix, Hong Meng, and the other All Heaven shop experts immediately disappeared from the All Heaven shop. Rumble. Above high heavens, a terrifying aura rippled across the sky above the Emperor District of the All Heaven shop, spreading toward the south. That's the owner of the All Heaven shop. He just obtained the Source Heaven stone mine. Why is he causing such a huge commotion now? Where is he going? That's the direction of the Genesis Emperor Prefecture. Where is he going? That old Genesis primordial spirit is a loner. Hee, I remember now. It must be for the 5 fellows imprisoned by the Genesis primordial spirit. Could it be that the rumors are true? Did the owner of the All Heaven shop accept a disciple into the lair of the Genesis primordial spirit? But then again, the owner of the All Heaven shop is quite capable to be able to cultivate 5 perfected quasi-immortal emperors. Above high heavens, the immortal emperors of the various emperor prefectures peeked out and communicated with each other through divine consciousness. At the same time, a wisp of consciousness followed Chu Bei to the Genesis Emperor District. Not only the immortal emperors, but some quasi-immortal emperors also seemed to have noticed something and immediately paid attention to the situation in the Genesis Emperor District. Buzz buzz, deep within the Genesis Emperor District, Chu Bei's figure appeared with a buzz. Behind him, the primordial dragon phoenix, Hong Meng, and the other experts also arrived. He's here. The owner of the All Heaven shop is really here. Just as Chu Bei arrived in the Genesis Emperor District, several figures rushed into the sky and surrounded Chu Bei. These figures were all powerful high-level quasi-immortal emperors, but when facing Chu Bei, they all looked wary and did not make a move. It was as if they were waiting for something. At the same time, all the experts in the Genesis Emperor District looked up into the sky as if they knew why Chu Bei had come. Chu Bei glanced at the quasi-immortal emperors around him and snorted coldly. His immortal emperor power surged and instantly forced these quasi-immortal emperors to retreat, their faces pale. Sect Master, aren't you being too high-profile by doing this? Perhaps if we pay a proper visit, the Genesis Immortal Emperor will let your 5 disciples go. Seeing this scene, an expert from the All Heaven shop spoke up. Chu Bei ignored the person who spoke. His aura became more and more terrifying until it enveloped the entire Genesis Emperor district. Just because you defeated that little guy Heiwu, you think you can do whatever you want in high heavens and look down on everyone? At this moment, an ethereal voice rang out. It came from the creation Emperor state and floated above the high heavens. While it was filled with anger, it was also filled with supreme majesty. For you to be able to cultivate to this realm, don't you understand that there's always someone better out there? The Genesis primordial spirit appeared in the sky and stared coldly at Chu Bei and the others. Let my disciples go, and I'll leave. Chu Bei looked straight at the Genesis primordial spirit and said calmly, I'm curious. Were you born in West Earth, or do you really have the means to go there? The Genesis primordial spirit questioned. That's not important, Chu Bei replied. Hearing Chu Bei's words, the Genesis primordial spirit sneered. What if I refuse to let your 5 disciples go? Of course, I'll fight. Chu Bei's aura became more terrifying as a 5-colored long sword appeared in his hand, but 4 stars is far from enough. The Genesis primordial spirit did not seem to care about Chu Bei at all. There was disdain in his eyes. Just as the Genesis primordial spirit's indifferent voice fell, accompanied by a shocking rumble, blue water droplets began to seep out of his body. 1 droplet, 2 droplets, 3 droplets. In just a few seconds, the number of blue water droplets exceeded 50 droplets, and it was still increasing. These blue water droplets were suspended around the Genesis primordial spirit's body, carrying a mysterious power aura fluctuation that inexplicably made one's heart palpitate. At that moment, the space where the Genesis primordial spirit and Chu Bei were it rippled, forming a world of its own, isolated from the outside world. Mobilizing 99 droplets of source heaven power at the same time. As expected, peak 6-star. He's only 1 droplet of source heaven power away from breaking through to 7-star. After detecting the number of water droplets around the Genesis primordial spirit's body, the other Emperor Province Immortal Emperors watching the battle exclaimed. In the Immortal Emperor realm, once they were able to condense source heaven power, it meant that they had officially entered the 4-star realm. But between 4-star and 6-star, their strength was different, and the amount of source heaven power they could mobilize was also different. A 4-star Immortal Emperor could only mobilize 1 droplet of source heaven power to fight. But even 1 droplet was enough to easily suppress a peak 3-star Immortal Emperor. For someone like the Genesis primordial spirit, who could mobilize 99 droplets of source heaven power at the same time, it was already a peak 6-star Immortal Emperor. As for mobilizing 100 droplets of source heaven power, it meant that one had entered the 7-star realm. It was said that 100 droplets of source heaven power was enough to cause a qualitative change, and the level of one's strength would increase by another level. Chapter 659. In the entire Immortal Emperor ranking board, the only one who could mobilize 100 drops of source heaven power was the top 5 Immortal Emperors who were in closed-door cultivation all year round and would only wake up during the Immortal Emperor ranking battle. Buzz. On the battlefield, the Genesis primordial spirit suddenly waved his sleeve. Then, with a buzzing sound, a prison appeared on the battlefield. There were 5 figures in the prison. They were the 5 disciples that Chu Bei had taken in the journey to the West Realm: Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, Monk Sand, Golden Cicada, and Aolai. Master. Upon seeing Chu Bei, Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the others were taken aback at first, but then their faces lit up with joy. They immediately greeted him respectfully, and their voices were filled with excitement. But soon, the 5 of them seemed to realize that the atmosphere in the battlefield was not right, and their faces grew solemn again. The things behind them that look like nadens are indeed the Tao of the owner of the All-Heaven shop. The difference is that the 5 of them have only 1 Tao, and they have reached the peak of 1 Tao, while the owner of the All-Heaven shop seems to have blended all Taos together. Seeing the divine pills floating behind Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the others, the Immortal Emperors watching the battle murmured, "The 5 of you came from the West Earth and are my descendants. Who would have thought that you would come to the great heavens domain to join the All-Heaven shop?" Since that's the case, I'll let you see the difference between me and your master. The Genesis primordial spirit's gaze swept across the 5 of them and then fixed on Chu Bei. The 99 drops of source heaven power around his body began to move, forming wisps of blue ripples of the great Tao. At this moment, not only the quasi-immortal emperor experts, but even the immortal emperors who had not yet stepped into the 4-star realm looked extremely serious, as if they were going to seriously observe the next battle. It was extremely difficult to condense source heaven power, and the fastest shortcut was undoubtedly to observe the battle between immortal emperors who could already mobilize source heaven power. However, such a battle could only be observed during the immortal emperor ranking battle. Because of this, the battle between the Genesis primordial spirit and Chu Bei would attract the attention of the immortal emperors below the 3-star realm. I hope the owner of the All-Heavens shop can hold on for a while longer and not be defeated so quickly. Some immortal emperors under the 3 stars prayed secretly. Sect Master, do you really want to fight him? The ancient dragon phoenix sent out a message. Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the other 4, who were also on the battlefield, had worried looks in their eyes. From the information they had captured so far, their master's cultivation realm was not as good as the Genesis primordial spirit. However, Chu Bei merely smiled at the ancient dragon phoenix and the others. He had no intention of backing down. Rumble, on the battlefield, the Genesis primordial spirit made a move. He casually raised his right hand and waved it. 3 drops of Genesis heaven power rumbled as they shot towards Chu Bei. In his opinion, 3 drops of source heaven power were more than enough to deal with a 4-star celestial emperor. However, his expression changed the instant he sent out the 3 drops of Genesis heaven power. To be more precise, it wasn't just the Genesis primordial spirit. Except for the 5 7-star celestial emperors who were still in closed-door cultivation, all the immortal emperors above the heavens were shocked as they stared at Chu Bei in disbelief. On the battlefield, Chu Bei's body was covered in a layer of blue light film, and the same amount of Genesis heaven power was seeping out. However, there wasn't just 1 drop. 5 drops, 10 drops, 20 drops, 30 drops, 40 drops. The amount of Genesis heaven power was increasing, and when there was no more Genesis heaven power seeping out from Chu Bei's body, there were a total of 100 drops. 100 drops. 1 more drop than Lord Genesis primordial spirit. Seeing the amount of Genesis heaven power around Chu Bei's body, the faces of the Genesis Emperor State experts turned ashen in an instant. It was as if they had been struck by lightning, and their bodies went numb. This scene was so shocking and unexpected that they were caught off guard. How is this possible? The immortal emperors watching the battle sucked in a breath of cold air one after another. Their faces were filled with bewilderment, and they looked like clay sculptures that had been struck by lightning. Evidently, they were also thoroughly shocked by this scene. It was too unexpected. The primordial dragon phoenix and Hong Meng were also dumbfounded. Their brains seemed to have lost the ability to think, and they stood there motionless like wooden blocks, staring blankly at Chu Bei. Looking at their expressions, could it be that Master's cultivation base is actually above the Genesis primordial spirit? Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the other 4 looked at each other with joy on their faces. That's great. Master isn't a 4-star celestial emperor, but a 7-star celestial emperor. The All-Heavens shop experts reacted and began to cheer. On the other hand, the Genesis Emperor State experts' expressions became incomparably solemn, and their brows were tightly knitted together. Splash! It was also at this moment that the strange sound of flowing water suddenly rang out on the battlefield. Is this the so-called qualitative change of 100 drops? The spectating immortal emperors were even more astonished at the scene on the battlefield. Unlike the Genesis primordial spirit's 99 drops of Genesis heaven power, Chu Bei's 100 drops of Genesis heaven power seemed to have constructed an inexplicable connection with each other. They seemed to have formed a large formation that bloomed with azure light at the same time. Then, under countless gazes, they unexpectedly blended together. The 100 drops of Genesis heaven power intertwined together. In theory, it should only be a small splash, but in reality, It had evolved into a river of Genesis heaven. Amidst the splashing water, the terrifying degree of the pervasive Genesis heaven power had clearly risen by hundreds of levels. It was far from what the water droplets could compare to. Chu Bei's face was expressionless. He raised his hand and waved, and a water dragon transformed from the river of Genesis heaven met the 3 drops of Genesis heaven power sent out by the Genesis primordial spirit. ZZ. In an instant, the 3 drops of Genesis heaven power from the Genesis primordial spirit were swallowed by the water dragon without even a splash. Looking at the water dragon that continued to rush over, the Genesis primordial spirit's pupils suddenly shrank, and a sense of crisis rose in his heart. He didn't dare to be careless. Without any hesitation, he once again condensed 3 drops of Genesis heaven power, and then simultaneously activated the 99 drops of Genesis heaven power to meet the water dragon. Walala. However, it only resisted for a few seconds before the 99 drops of Genesis heaven power disappeared into the water dragon. Bang! The water dragon swept over and struck the Genesis primordial spirit. Incomparably terrifying Genesis heaven power erupted. The Genesis primordial spirit's emperor body exploded, and he struggled painfully in the water dragon. The Genesis primordial spirit has lost. In the end, we still underestimated the owner of the all-heaven shop. He's a 7 stars immortal emperor. Maybe this is still not his ultimate strength? Where did he come from? He appeared out of thin air 30 years ago and established the all-heaven shop in one fell swoop. He even has the means to enter the low-level great regions. I can't see through him. I really can't see through him. Witnessing the scene on the battlefield, the hearts of the spectating immortal emperors sank as though they were filled with cold lead. Chapter 660. Across the entire high heavens, especially the Undermoon Empress, Xing Qiong Immortal Emperor, Yi Huang Immortal Emperor, and He Wu Immortal Emperor, who had dealt with Chu Bei in the Great Lost Territory, looked at each other with an indescribable look in their eyes. Walala. While countless experts were discussing intensely, the water dragon on the battlefield opened its huge mouth and spat out the Genesis primordial spirit. It then rushed toward the prison where Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the others were trapped. Pacha. With a crisp sound, the prison collapsed and Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the others regained their freedom. The Genesis primordial spirit also took the opportunity to reconstruct his physical body and restore his original appearance. However, compared to the beginning of the battle, his aura was clearly much weaker. The Genesis primordial spirit steadied his body and didn't say a word. He just stared at Chu Bei with great vigilance and astonishment in his eyes. He knew that the owner of the all-heaven shop had shown mercy to him just now. Let's go. Master will take you back to the all-heaven shop. Chu Bei smiled faintly at Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and the others. Then, with a wave of his sleeve, he disappeared with the all-heaven shop's experts. At the same time, the water dragon transformed from the river of origin heaven also dissipated. In an instant, the Genesis Emperor Province and the other Emperor Provinces above the high heavens fell into silence. He left, just like that. It's over just like that? It wasn't until a long time later that the group of experts looked at the battlefield where only the Genesis primordial spirit was left that they regained their senses and muttered to themselves. The Genesis primordial spirit was silent. He glanced in the direction of the Emperor Province and finally shook his head and returned to the depths of the Emperor Province. As time passed, the immortal emperors of the other Emperor Province also withdrew their divine consciousness. Lord Sect Master, what realm are you at? After returning to the all-heaven shop, the primordial dragon phoenix once again asked the question that had been bothering him. When the time is right, you will know. Chu Bei smiled faintly. In the battle with the Genesis Yuan spirit, the reason why he didn't overdo it was because he had already achieved his goal. Another reason was that his 100 drops of source heaven power were consumables, and their time was almost up. He wasn't confident that he could kill the Genesis primordial spirit before the time was up. Of course, he didn't have that idea in the first place. After all, The Genesis primordial spirit didn't show any killing intent to him from the beginning to the end. It just wanted to put him in his place. In the eyes of the high heavens experts, he had already stepped into the seven stars realm. This way, even if he left the high heavens, no other immortal emperors would dare to offend the all-heavens shop. Master, we can finally follow in your footsteps. In the all-heavens shop, Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, Monk Sha, Golden Cicada, and Ao Lai knelt before Chu Bei. Their faces were filled with respect and excitement. Although you have defeated the Overseer of the West Earth and come to the great domain of chaos, you still have to face the Overseer of the West Earth. However, there is still a long way to go on the path of cultivation. You must not slack off. Chu Bei glanced at Goku and the others and said indifferently, "Disciple will follow the teachings. We will cultivate more wholeheartedly and step into the immortal emperor realm as soon as possible." After Goku, Zhu Beiji, and the others responded, they looked at Bu Xian, Bing Tongtong, and Little Long Huang. "Master, are these three little guys our junior brothers?" Before Chu Bei could speak, Bu Xian, Bing Tongtong, and Little Long Huang answered first, "Senior brother, we are only Master's in-name disciples, not his personal disciples." When they saw that Goku, Zhu Beiji, and the others all had the power of divine pills, their faces were undoubtedly filled with envy. 3 days later, the owner of the all-heavens shop is simply the one who has appeared in the world for the shortest time, but his name spread the fastest. Yes, the high heavens was originally the quietest of the 9 strongest domains. However, since the appearance of the owner of the all-heavens shop, the entire high heavens has become the most talked about topic in the all-heavens domains. Speaking of which, what is the realm of the owner of the all-heavens shop? Wasn't it said that he was only a 2 stars immortal emperor? How did he suddenly become a 7-star immortal emperor? Even the Genesis primordial spirit was defeated by him. He hid his strength too well. As time passed, the news of the battle between Chu Bei and the Genesis primordial spirit began to spread from the high heavens to the entire chaotic heavens. The netherworld realm, One Yuan Emperor State. 7-star immortal emperor. He went to the birthplace of the Genesis primordial spirit and even took in 5 disciples. You really do have the means to go to the low-level great domains. Emperor Yuan floated above the holy mountain, muttering to himself as he looked in the direction of the all-heavens shop in the Emperor's State. The all-heavens shop in the Emperor's State. Master, are you going to go into seclusion again? How long will it take this time? In the all-heavens shop, Bu Xian, Bing Tongtong, and Little Long Huang stared at Chu Bei with widened eyes. There was some reluctance on their little faces. Maybe 3 days, maybe 30,000 years, or maybe 3 million years. When there is a need, I will come out of seclusion. After Chu Bei's gaze swept across Bu Xian and the other little guys, he looked at Sun Wukong, Zhu Beiji, and other personal disciples and nodded slightly. After 15 minutes, the system will forcibly send the host to the city of experience. As soon as Chu Bei's voice fell, the system's voice sounded in his mind. Time passed. The chaotic heavens. After 100,000 years, the Emperor-level forces ranking battle in the high heavens has finally begun again. In the coming days, our great domain is going to be lively again. Of course, no matter what, we are one of the 9 strongest great domains. The Emperor-level forces ranking battle is not only a grand event in the high heavens, but it will also become the focus of the other great domains. Tomorrow is the deadline for registration. Among the 39 Emperor-level forces, 38 have already signed up. Sigh, it seems that the all-heavens shop that was just established in recent years really won't sign up. I really don't understand. In addition to the primordial dragon phoenix, the owner of the all-heavens shop clearly has 5 more perfection stage quasi-immortal emperors. With such strength, even if they can't enter the top 5, they can at least enter the top 10. The ranking of emperor-level forces not only looks at the strength of the force's inheritors, but also the strength of the founder. After all, judging the strength of an emperor-level force, the strength of the force's founder accounts for a greater proportion. But the owner of the all-heavens shop is very strong. Even the Genesis primordial spirit is no match for him. Then why aren't they participating? Could it be that the owner of the All-Heaven shop has disappeared again? Haha, that's what the rumors are saying now. After all, the deadline for registration is coming soon. If the owner of the All-Heaven shop really doesn't want to participate, then there's really no need for the All-Heaven shop to sign up. Although there are 6 perfection stage quasi-immortal emperors, there's no point in signing up without an immortal emperor powerhouse. After all, the top 5 forces have a 2nd, 3rd, and even 4th immortal emperors in addition to the founder. In the high heavens, one of the 9 strongest domains, every emperor province was fiercely discussing the emperor-level force ranking battle. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.